WBGU 88.1, your home for Falcon hockey, as we cover the second game of the series of Bowling Green State University taking on the Minnesota State Mavericks. I'm here, Gavin Gill, joined by Artie Abrego and Jacob Kopez. How are we feeling about today's game after Bowling Green lost to the Mavericks 5-4 yesterday?
Well, I mean, when I checked the score at the end of the first period, it was 3-1, so I thought the Falcons would be headed into a pretty good spot heading into this matchup, but, things did not go their way. They lost 5-4 out of a rough couple of goals in the second and third period from Minnesota State. So it's definitely a bit rougher than you'd probably expect out of this Falcons team, especially after that strong first period.
Yeah, I mean, that game last night, it was rough for all the Falcon Nation out there. I mean, you're going into the second period up 3-1, then you let up 3 straight in the second period to go down 4-3 going into the third period. I mean, that's just a total collapse by the team. So you're going to be looking for a lot of energy coming out today, and hopefully they're going to have a lot of fight with them.
Well, I mean, they should have a lot of fight, as we saw what ended the game yesterday with a full skirmish at the goalie net. I would also expect the Falcons come out with a lot of fight. There's a lot riding on this game as they go into the last game of the season against Michigan Tech. Also, this is their last home game possibly of the season if they can't get into that top 4 spot of the CCHA, which the top 4 get home ice advantage. I guess it's not home ice advantage. So you definitely want to be fighting for that spot. In Minnesota State, they just took your number 4 spot. You were sitting at 4. You were sitting pretty good. And as long as you took a win yesterday, or even like a shootout loss would have kept you in that 4 spot, giving you a little bit more cushion. But the Falcons weren't able to pull away with it. But we will do around CCHA here in a matter of minutes. But before we do that, we're going to throw it to a quick break, and then we're going to do our key plays of the game. You're listening to 88.1 WBGU for coverage of Bowling Green taking on Minnesota State.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Check out recaps of this and every BGSU hockey match online at bgfalconmedia.com.
88.1 WBGU for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on Minnesota State Mavericks. We're about 13 plus 20 minutes away from puck drop before we send it out to Ben Korak and Dan Reinauer in the slate tonight. Last game of the season at home, I should say. Last game, unless they can pull out and get to that top 4 spot like we discussed just a few minutes ago. But let's go over keys of the game. So, Artie, I'm going to start with you. Your keys of the game for the Falcons.
You mentioned one of them before we went off the air. It's to start fast and aggressive. I mean, you kind of want that aggressive edge from the Falcons in this game. Last night, they didn't score until the 8:43 mark in the second period. So it would be nice to just start like very fast here and like a very aggressive edge to the Falcons heading into this game. And my second one is don't get complacent. We saw they were up 3-1 heading into the second period, and then Minnesota State, they get 3 goals in that second period. They get another one in the third. You can't get complacent. You got to keep your eye on the puck at all times. You got to play with that same edge you started off the game with, and you got to pick up the win.
For myself, my first key is I think you got to get more block shots. I mean, yesterday throughout the entire game, they only had 8 block shots, which is very low for a hockey team, especially when Minnesota State had 24. So they had 3 times the amount that we did, and you could really tell. I mean, one of the blocks we did have led to a goal, and it feels like after that mark, they just really stopped putting the body on the line. And you'd like to see them do that more and really help out their goalie by getting in front of the shots. Then the other one is that they got to keep winning faceoffs. They won the faceoff battle by 10 last game, but with how close the games are for the rest of the season, you'd probably like to see them win even more. I mean, that might be a little greedy, but the faceoffs, that can really determine the outcome of the game.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of an update on that fight that we talked about yesterday. We have Crampton and Reed Morich suspended for tonight, game disqualification, and Norris is back in the lineup off of injury. So bringing Norris back, you got another scorer on your hands. Is he still captain? I know he's former captain for the Falcons, but definitely something that the Falcons definitely want to keep in mind, I guess, with Norris back in the lineup. Also, I would say the key to the game, I mean, for a high-scoring game, I mean, it's hockey, 5-4. That's a pretty high-scoring game. Not necessarily for CCHA play, but just pepper the net. Like, I mean, you already know that the Minnesota State's goalie. I don't know who's goalie for tonight for Minnesota State. Cole Moore will be starting tonight for the Falcons for his second game in after last night. But I don't know who that goalie is going to be for Minnesota State. Do you know, Jacob?
Yeah, his name's Alex Tracy. On the season, he only has 1.99 goals allowed average and a .922 save percentage. So he's actually a pretty good goalie. So, I mean, I agree with you. You really got to pepper the net tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we saw. I mean, Bowling Green was able to put 4 in net last night. Just absolutely pepper it. That would be my key to the game. Defensively, Cole Moore. I mean, we see what Cole Moore can do. He put out a shutout last week against Augustana, thank you. Sorry. He put out a shutout against Augustana, and then that second game he didn't play. But Cole Moore just needs to be more like Cole Moore, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely still a lot of trust within Cole Moore. I feel, I mean, that was definitely probably his roughest game of the season, let 5 go through the net. But you just got to kind of trust your goalie at these points. It's getting late in the season. It's your last home game. You got to give him all the support you can when they get into the stretch of, the Mason Cup and all that. So you got to give him a lot of trust here. And I think it will be another game where it's just going to be a lot of attacking the net, a lot of like trying to get the high scoring action going. These are two teams that are very good at getting it through the net, scoring a ton of points in bunches. So it's definitely going to be another tough contest for Cole Moore.
I mean, also, before Jacob, I mean, these two teams are fighting for home ice advantage. Like, they're fighting for that 4 spot. One team is 44 in points, and the other team is 43. Like, Minnesota State just took BG in the standings for CCHA play. So, I mean, Minnesota State's going to also be coming out, peppering the net. They know what Cole Moore, they've already seen Cole Moore on tape and in person, so they know what they can do against him.
Yeah, I mean, and last night for Cole Moore, that was a very uncharacteristic start from him. I mean, he only saved 26 of 31 shots, so letting in 5 for a .838 save percentage. And on the season, he has a 2.5 goals allowed average, so he let up about 2 times more than he usually does. So, I mean, tonight you really just want to hope he gets more settled into the game and hoping that he's not dwelling too much on the result of last night and letting him really just get to what he usually does game by game.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and also to play devil's advocate to whatever I just said they've already seen Cole Moore. Cole Moore's already seen what they're coming at him with. I mean, yeah, you can come out with a new trick up your sleeve every once in a while, but I mean, when you're in college hockey, this is no offense to any college hockey player, but you want to stick to what works for you. Like, you don't really start working on like absolute amazing tricks and moves until you get a little bit higher into your collegiate career, maybe get to the juniors, and then you start working on your puck skills a little bit more. So Cole Moore has already seen what's coming at him.
Yeah, and he had 5 different goal scorers last night for Minnesota State as well. So he's seen a lot of guys attack the net as well. So he kind of knows where all the attacks are going to be coming from, depending on if they either they crash the net or they try to do something to get him out of position. But he knows how this team plays. Like Jake mentioned, they've seen the tape. He's now played him now. So it's definitely going to be a little bit. I would think it'd be a little bit of an easier contest for Cole Moore. I mean, coming off that bad game, but it's going to be something you're going to have to watch as it happens. You never truly know how a team's going to perform until they hit the ice.
And, I mean, you also don't know how Cole Moore is going to respond. Also, this is the first time he's played back-to-back games, and I don't have that stat in front of me. But, like Steinman he's been taking that second game for the last 2-3 months now, ever since December. And also, none of this is a shot on Palmer. Palmer was put into a tough spot, having not playing in a long time against Augustana. And then you get put into Augustana, who is third in the CCHA. And also 2 out of the goals, they were deflected shots off of Falcons. So no disrespect on Palmer. We're hoping for a Cole Moore. I would be hoping for a Cole Moore shutout at the Slate final game of the season, but we shall see. We will be right back here on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey, as we do a round CCHA play, as we've kind of teased it a little bit.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM, but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Bowling Green Baseball concludes their weekend series against Western Carolina on Sunday, February 22nd at 1 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's baseball beat Tyler Kavalitz will have a recap of the game available on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for all BGSU athletics news and updates.
BGSU women's basketball hits the road, traveling to Athens to face Ohio on Wednesday, February 25th at 7 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Dan Reinauer, Noah Seeley, and Vaughn Ullum kick off the broadcast with a pregame show at 6:35 p.m. before Lucas Kleinmeyer calls the contest on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon women's basketball.
Hi, this is Emmy Butera with the women's soccer team, and I'm doing my favorite 4 candies. So my first one is Jolly Ranchers. My second one is Sour Patch Watermelon. My third one, probably Gummy Bears. And my fourth one, I'll go with Mentos.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
88.1 WBGU for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on Minnesota State. Gavin Gill, Artie Abrego, and Jacob Kopaz. I almost mixed you up with Dawson. That's crazy. Anyway, speaking of Dawson, make sure to tune into anything FMSN related on bgfalconmedia.com, as well as our X, Instagram, and Facebook accounts. We have all Bowling Green athletics, recaps, photos, videos, great highlight packages, a lot of things great coming out of Falcon Media Sports Network as of lately. But not saying that anything bad was coming out. Whatever, you guys get it. Doing around CCHA play right now. Very tight matchup in the top 5 spots. St. Thomas is currently sitting on top of the CCHA with 48 points, with Michigan Tech also at 48 points. So the 1 and 2 spots are tied currently. Augustana is sitting right behind them at 47 points. Minnesota State is sitting at 44 points. Bowling Green sitting at 43 points. That's the only 5 that really kind of matter. You have Bemidji at 32, Lake Superior State at 26, and Ferris State at 18. So those 3 teams will definitely make it into CCHA playoffs, but they're not really fighting for home ice advantage like Bowling Green and Minnesota State are. Minnesota State is on top of Bowling Green with 44 points compared to Bowling Green's 43 points. But if you take a look at who St. Thomas, these top 4 teams have to play. St. Thomas plays Augustana tonight, 47 points, right behind them. Then they play Bemidji, which Bemidji has been kind of creeping up. They've been creeping up in points as of lately, but they are away at Bemidji. Michigan Tech is currently off today, and then they are at home against Bowling Green. So big thing for the Falcons right there to try to get some points to maybe make up for this Minnesota State series. Augustana, like I said, will play St. Thomas today, and then they are off the last game of the week, or the last week of the series or the season. And then Minnesota State, they're playing Bowling Green today, and then they take on Northern Michigan. So Minnesota State, no disrespect, but Northern Michigan is currently sitting there at 12 points at the bottom of the CCHA. They're out of the playoffs. They're not making it in, but Minnesota State has an easier path, I would say, to try to get home ice advantage. Now, the question is, Bowling Green takes the win today. Okay, straight up win. That's 3 points. Bowling Green takes over 2 points? Whatever. Bowling Green takes the win today over Minnesota State. They jump Minnesota State. Augustana plays St. Thomas today, and they are off the last game of the season. Would you rather see a St. Thomas win or an Augustana win, with St. Thomas at 48 points and Augustana at 47?
I feel like that's tough. I mean, there's a lot of like variables with that, but I mean, with the Falcons, I mean, you're just fighting to just get home ice at this point in time. You're not really fighting for like a top spot at one of those. I mean, because you're really gonna have to rally at this point. I would say you want a St. Thomas win. I would say that too.
Because they're off. Augustana is off the last week of the season. Michigan, unless Bowling Green can pull out an upset against Michigan Tech, and they get a win tonight, they might be able to jump back into that 3 spot.
Yeah, I mean, if Augustana, if they lose, they have no games left, so they can't really get any more points after that. The week they don't really play, and then so I think you would prefer a St. Thomas one because you could at least, depending on how you do today, you get points today, and then you get points if you get a win against Michigan Tech. You can really kind of rally and get up into that 4 spot and get a home ice game. So there's still, I feel that's still tough. I would say, but like you just kind of want to get into that 4 spot at this point. I mean, that's the only realistic spot you can really get at this point in time.
Yeah, I think you gotta hope St. Thomas wins. Hopefully they get all 3 points because if Augustana, they have no more games, then it puts it in your hands. It gives the Falcons, it is up to them how high of a spot they get. So, personally, when I was playing hockey, if it got to that point, there was a little bit more pride, and you played like 110% in regards to like 100% because you wanted it more and you had more opportunity to take that spot for yourself.
So if Bowling Green takes the win today, straight up win, no OT, they'll be sitting at 46 points, jumping Minnesota State right behind Augustana. And if St. Thomas wins, then Augustana stays at that 47 spot, and Bowling Green has a chance to jump them and give you a little bit more cushion, make sure that you can certify a 3 to 4 spot, because 1 and 2 are locked up. Michigan Tech, unless something crazy happens last week of the season with Michigan Tech, and Bowling Green is able to come out with both wins, that's 6 points. They might be able to jump them, but that's it. It's very tight sledding here in the CCHA. But before we send it out to Ben and Dan in about 5 minutes, we're going to take a quick break for some promos, and then we are going to do our final thoughts before puck drop at 6:07 here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BG Women's Swim participates in the MAC Championships in Akron, Ohio from Wednesday, February 25th through Saturday, February 28th. Falcon Media Sports Network's Dan Ridenauer will have a recap of the full event on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for all BGSU athletic news and updates.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Hi, I'm Taylor Dyson from BGSU Men's Soccer, and these are my Falcon 4 teammates that I would like to have in the Hunger Games. The first one would be Brennan Graves, because he's pretty much built like a bear. He's a big guy. The second, I would like Josh Erlinson, just because he knows all that wilderness stuff. He's good in the woods. The third one, I'd have Trace Terra, just because he's a tall guy and he can reach a lot of stuff that I can't. And the fourth guy would be Mads Christiansen, because if we ever got in trouble, he would be the first person we sacrifice. Thank you.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Miss a BGSU sports broadcast? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to listen to past calls by Falcon Media Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Nate Paps. I play O-line here at BGSU. My 4 favorite hobbies are hunting. I love hunting deer and turkey during the off season and whenever I have time off. My second favorite hobby is video games. Whenever, in season, when I come home, I like to chill and just relax, play some video games with my friends. Third favorite hobby is fishing. Goes along with hunting, but I love being outdoors. I love fishing, hunting. I love all kinds of stuff like that outside. And my most recent favorite hobby is playing pool. We just got a pool table in our garage, and me and my roommates, who are also on the team, love playing pool. Those are my 4 favorite hobbies. Go Falcons.
BGSU men's basketball returns to the Stroh Center to face Western Michigan on Tuesday, February 24th at 7 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Nate Henners, Jacob Kopaz, and Dan Ridenauer start off the broadcast of the pregame show at 6:35 p.m. before Foster Rothstein and Artie Abrego call the game on Falcon Radio, streaming on bgfalconmedia.com.
Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
WBGU 88.1 for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on Minnesota State. Gavin Gill, Artie Abrego, and Jacob Kopez. And also I got Andrew Smith to my right. He'll be joining us a little bit later on tonight, but to get his thoughts. So final thoughts before we get to puck drop with Ben and Dan at the slate tonight, fellas.
Yeah, one last thing before we go on air. I think that tonight you really got to lock in on the power play. BGSU went 0 for 2 last night, and Minnesota State went 1 for 2, and obviously they won by 1 goal. This was something that head coach Dennis Williams touched on after the game, that you got to capitalize on those opportunities, especially at this point in the season where every game is pretty much a playoff game. So, if you get a couple power plays, you're going to have to capitalize, and hopefully that'll set you apart for the rest of the game.
Yeah, for the Falcons, I would just say you just got to keep the momentum up throughout the game. They started off hot in that first period. They scored 3 goals after letting one by, but you got to keep that same energy throughout the rest of the entire game because, you only got 1 in the second, you got 1 in the third. You want to keep that energy you had in the first period for the entire game. You can't just give up. You can't just kind of calm down and be complacent after the first 20 minutes. You got to keep that same energy throughout. So that's what I want to see from the Falcons.
I feel like I've already kind of touched base on my final thoughts. I want to see them pepper in the net a little bit more. Cole Moore has seen what is going to be coming at him, and I want him to block it a little bit better than he did last night, letting up 5 goals. But we are supposed to have puck drop here in about a minute, but they are still doing senior stuff out at the slate. So it's a senior night for all the seniors. Hockey players really take some of that stuff personally, so they're going to be fighting for a little bit more. They got playoffs on the line. They got home ice advantage on the line. Last game at the slate for some of these players, possibly, if they can't get a win tonight. But yeah, these boys are going to be playing for a lot. And definitely want to be seeing pepper in the net. Are there any key scorers you guys want to keep an eye on? I know we do Pick the Stick on FMSN social media X, where Ben, Lucas, Tyler, and a Falcon Media Sports Network representative get to pick a player to score tonight. But I will toss it to you guys for our imaginary Pick the Stick, like sometimes Artie and I like to do here on 88.1. So who do you guys looking to score tonight?
Well, without the great graphic by Nick Windholtz, but my imaginary Pick the Stick is going to have to be Tyler Hodson. He got a goal last time with 4 shots. So I would definitely like to see Hodson get another goal here. He's obviously been contributing a lot. He gets a ton of assists, so I would definitely like to see Hodson start out with a goal here tonight.
For me personally, I'm going to have to go with Quinn Emerson. While I would like to see Hodson score as well. He has 3 goals, or he has 3 straight games with a goal, excuse me. But Quinn Emerson, I mean, he has 9 goals on the season. He didn't get a goal last game. We'd like to see him get back on the score sheet. And, I mean, being one of those bigger name players for BGSU, I mean, you'd like to see him in one of these big games step up and hopefully carry them to a win.
You know, I'm going to be looking at Brody Waters. I picked him last week, but Brody Waters kind of went quiet for a few weeks. I feel like would be a night to, like, kind of step up in that role and and possibly get a goal on for tonight. But before we send it out to Ben and Dan, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
I'm Gus Peacock from the Bowling Green men's soccer team, and this is my Falcon 4 favorite Halloween costumes. My first one is going to be Bigfoot because I think it's really funny and he looks super big. My next one is going to be one of the founding fathers, Ben Frank. I'm going to do that this year. I think it's really funny. Another one, my favorite costumes would be Art the Clown because he's super scary and I've watched all the Terrifier movies. And the last one would be Buddy the Elf because I love that costume and I love that movie so much.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
Back here on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey. We just want to with it being senior night at the Slate tonight, we want to give a quick shout out to all the senior hockey players. So, Jacob, I'm going to have you list them all off before we wish them good luck tonight on their last possible game at the Slate.
Yep, so here we go. Starting off, we have a senior, number 12, defenseman Jackson Niedermeyer. We also have our captain, senior Dalton Norris. We also have, like I mentioned before, Quinn Emerson, senior. And then also Jack Blake is a senior as well.
And I'm pretty sure Brett Foe is also a senior, and he is off on injury right now. So we want to wish them all good luck, and also T's and P's to Brett Foe.
We also have one more. I apologize about this, but Jaden Grant, number 28 as well.
Jaden Grant. T's and P's to Brett Foe. Shout out to all the seniors. Thank you for coming to Bowling Green, making sports fun here at BGSU. We don't know if they're going to take another year. With NIL, who knows nowadays. But we want to wish you guys good luck before we send you to the pros. That's going to wrap up our pregame show. We're going to run through a couple promos before we send it out to Ben and Dan in the Slate here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On November 15th, 2024, BGSU Hockey defeated St. Thomas in a shootout, courtesy of a game winner by defenseman Jack Blake. Falcon Media Sports Network's voice of Falcon hockey, Ben Korak, had the call of the moment on WBGU 88.1 FM.
And Jack Blake, for all the glory, trying to put this one away. With the puck, taking it around, far side wheel, working in with the shot, and he fills it! Jack Blake with the shootout winner! First time in the lineup this season, and Jack Blake is the hero as Bowling Green mobs him.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
BGSU women's basketball hits the road, traveling to Athens to face Ohio on Wednesday, February 25th at 7 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Dan Reinauer, Noah Seeley, and Vaughn Ullum kick off the broadcast with a pregame show at 6:35 p.m. before Lucas Kleinmeyer calls the contest on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon women's basketball.
BG Women's Golf travels out west for the Rio Verde Collegiate Invitational in Rio Verde, Arizona from Friday, February 20th through Sunday, February 22nd. Falcon Media Sports Network's Coyle Withrow will have a recap of the event available on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for all BGSU athletic news and updates.
You are tuned into live BGSU hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network.
And it is that time. Thank you for listening to our pregame show. Artie Abrego, Jacob Kopaz, Gavin Gill on the mics tonight. Now we're going to send it out to Ben Korak and Dan Reinauer out at the slate. How are we feeling out there, fellas?
Well, it's senior night out here, Gavin, and a lot of energy in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Great crowd for the second night in a row. Certainly better than last night with all the probably family and friends in town to celebrate the 6 seniors that are celebrating their senior night today, and should be a very good game today and a very meaningful one for both Minnesota State and Bowling Green. Dan.
Absolutely, Ben. And you know the saying, you always save the best for last. What could be the last home game for the 2026 campaign, as of now, the last game for the regular season, it's going to be at the Madhouse on Mercer. You got to anticipate it, and the crowd really has shown up tonight.
Minnesota State with a win over Bowling Green yesterday in regulation. 3 points took them ahead of the Falcons by 1 point in the CCHA standings. That's where they stand, in 4th place. The Falcons standing in 5th place. So a win today for the Falcons is definitely needed for Bowling Green to make the best run at a home playoff, which is something they sorely need, playing the 2 games in the quarterfinal at home rather than playing them on the road. Again, myself, Ben Korak, and Dan Reinauer from the Falcon Media Sports Network. We'll talk through some of the seniors as we go on today during our breaks before and after media timeouts and intermissions and so on. There's 6 to get through, so make sure to stay tuned, and we'll run you through a little biography of each of the 6 seniors, and 5 of which are in the starting lineup today. That's Jaden Grant at center, Quinn Emerson on the right side, Jackson Niedermeyer, the defenseman, on the left side, and on defense, Jack Blake and Dalton Norris. Newly in the lineup is Dalton Norris, coming off of an injury that took him away from the second game against Lake Superior State, and he's missed since until today, back in the lineup. Quick shot from Minnesota State. They miss wide left, and the puck comes back out to center ice. Jaden Grant plays it forward, and the seniors, a couple of them come off, and a couple of other players come on. One of those, Tyler Hodson, that goes right at the puck. It's lost from him. Sawyer Scholl loses it again for Minnesota State, center ice, and Higgins takes it around his own net. Leading up across his own blue line is Higgins, looking for a pass. He gets it in on the plus side of the center line. Puck in the corner, looked to be peeled off. Higgins goes into the corner, skating on defense today, and the Falcons missing one of their freshman defensemen, Braden Crampton, due to a suspension off of a game disqualification. Yesterday, a fight with Reed Morick. Both of those players will not play today, serving out their penalty for the ejection yesterday. Higgins with the shot in, deflected in front by Max Martin. It's steered back to the boards and cleared out by Minnesota State. Bad change by the Falcons. Benincasa down the right wing. He gives it up to Lemire, and Lemire takes it up to the blue line. Watkins left side. His shot just saved by Cole Moore, who got a stitch on the puck to keep Minnesota State off the board early. Just about a minute in, and some pretty solid pressure from both sides. We're going to get an offsides here against Bowling Green, and the puck will come back out to center.
And credit too to Higgins. You see that on that earlier side. He was able to take it on the right, really has his speed, caught his head up, and that's what the Bowling Green defense has to do today. They got to get their head up. They got to know where they need to take the puck, and now they're going to get that line change of Niedermeyer and Studenberg out there. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Morneau for the draw, one back by Bowling Green. Sternberg plays it ahead softly to Waters, and it's back out of the blue line with deflection from Minnesota State. They play the puck behind their net. The Falcons, 2 freshman blue liners. Both Crampton will miss his first game today, but he and Higgins have not missed an eligible game so far through the games that they've played this season. There's a pass to the back door. Streaking in there was Jackson Niedermeyer, and the puck comes around the rink, and it'll come back out into the BG end with possession by Sternberg. 18 minutes to go in the third. Emerson up the right wing. His shot in, saved by Tracy. Emerson back up to the blue line. Norris holds it in, but it's turned over to Jack Smith. Smith up at center ice. Norris plays defense on him, and he'll come recover the puck. Interesting to look at Dalton Norris today. He's been injured with a lower leg injury to his left leg, and wonder how his lungs will be today and going forward, going into playoffs. He was a starter before the break. Here's a shot in and a deflection. But Norris has had some time without playing hockey, so how can he adjust back into being on the ice? Emerson down the right wing. He will not get to the puck in time. Psycho's there first and an icing against the Falcons.
Close call there between him and Psychos, but I mean, it's just going to be, you're going to have to look and see what else you can do with it here. I mean, Bowling Green really tried to get the rush going, and it didn't quite pan out, but it's great to see Dalton Norris back in the lineup. That'll be the highlight, especially for Bowling Green, having him out there.
Sloan in the dot, Minville and Emerson, along with Norris and Higgins in the Bowling Green end with a face-off. Won by Benincasa, back up to Murr at the blue line. His shot and a right-hand save by Cole Moore. Murr had credit for a goal yesterday. Here's another play in, a rebound chance to Cole Moore. He's able to shut the puck down. Falcons pressing it into the behind of the junior netminder, and the whistle blows as the referee lost sight of the puck. Cole Moore was blocking all of those rebound attempts with his back. That was on the right post.
Credit to Moore on that one, really just laying on it almost before the official lost sight of it, but we'll look to see what else can happen. I mean, the Bowling Green defense was able to step in there and really take advantage of it, getting Leon Watkins and Tristan Lemire out there. You know that is a dangerous duo for any team in college hockey to have to go against.
Jake Sloan loses the faceoff back to Minnesota State. Bergmanis to Lemire to the slot. Watkins, another shot on a rebound. Backhand chance trickles through the right side. Liam Watkins off of a couple of rebounds, and Cole Moore couldn't set himself in time.
So that one came out of nowhere by Watkins, able to get his 6th goal of the season, but even then, just Watkins really was able to get it on net, and that's why not every shot has to be the prettiest shot in the world. You just look, on the backhand, just trickles right through the 5-hole of Moore, and really, that's why you got to throw it on net, because you don't know what's going to go in, and that one will be an instance where it will. The 5th shot of the game, and it's 1-0 Minnesota State.
Moore made the save at the middle of the crease, kicked it, the rebound to the left, and made it to the post in time, but it just got between his legs, as Dan mentioned, and 1-0 Minnesota State with 3 minutes expired in the first. Minnesota State with 6 shots on goal already. The Falcons with only 1. Started similar to that yesterday before Bowling Green got their legs under them, and similar to the same situation. Sawyer Scholl, 7 minutes into the game. This puck at the slot, poked away by Bowling Green defensively. Stender back to the new inclusion in the lineup for Minnesota State. The only change, Charlie Lurie. He loses the puck. Won by Bowling Green. Duran up to the left side. Max Martin a shot into the chest of Tracy, and he'll make his 2nd save of the night.
You know, Tracy's going to have to be a guy that you just got to throw shots on him because you don't know what's going to go in. But Tracy, I mean, putting up his repertoire. I mean, you see yesterday the first period wasn't a strong suit. He carried it out, had an amazing 2nd and 3rd period. All goals against average of 1.98 and a 92 save percentage. Just we'll see what else he can do today as a leader for this Mavericks.
Has only not played 2 games the last 2 seasons. One of them this season, January 3rd of 2026 against Yale. Both of them been W's for Minnesota State, although he's played all but those 2 in the last 2 years. Dominic Ryman back in his own zone behind the goal line, and he'll take it out to Norris on the right side, who backhands it ahead for Waters, and Morneau getting in toward Tracy. Ryman takes a body into the corner. Morneau to hold it in the Falcon O-zone blue line as he's tossed down to the ice. Jack Smith to poke the puck away. BG with O-zone possession. Now back to Mason Wheeler, the captain, defenseman. A D-to-D pass, and it's broke out by Minnesota State. Up at center ice, Jack Smith lifts it into the corner and gets his guys a change as Bowling Green circles the net and comes back up. McKinley through center ice, gains the entry with 4 defenders there. It was Finn Williams that disrupted the puck. Up at the blue line, held in by McKinley. Minnesota State pokes it back out to center, and Jack Blake sweeps it in deep again. Falcons late to get to the puck. Evan Murr, the junior defenseman, plays it away. First team All-CCHA last season, and defenseman of the year was Evan Murr. An impressive defenseman. He's got another year of eligibility after this if he chooses to stay with Minnesota State. A long shot from the center line, saved by Cole Moore. You'd expect him to make those, but 2 goals scored yesterday for Minnesota State on long tries, one by Conrad, one by Ian Somoza. Jackson Niedermeyer with the puck, fans on the pass. The senior pokes it away after his turnover. Puck into the corner. Higgins takes a man down. The puck back with BG. Niedermeyer lifts it out, trying to get it to center ice. Didn't have the legs to get there, but a bump by Max Martin got it outside the blue line. Benincasa takes it in, right side, shot with the right stick and into the chest of Cole Moore. 14:37 to go in the first, 1-0 Minnesota State leads.
Minnesota State really starting to test Moore out high. I mean, looking at what he's going to give up, what he's going to be able to save, but they're trying those higher shots and maybe even setting that screen, trying to get in front of Moore, who, I mean, he's got 5 wins so far this season. He's got a .904 save percentage, so you know that he's a pretty solid goaltender, but if you try to test him out high, set that screen, you only know what can happen.
Benincasa now 3-0 on faceoffs to the right side. Watkins pokes it to the back door. Benincasa was there, but didn't get to his tape. He tips it now. The Falcons recover the puck. It's Gustav Stjernberg who's playing out a little bit of a leash now. Every game misconduct he takes is a game suspension the day after or more, as the rules of the NCAA. BG in the O-zone now on sides. Morneau loses the puck and back the other way. 2-on-1 breakaway, poked ahead for Scholl, who was trying to stay on sides, and because of that, he's late into the zone. Korodiak recovers the puck as he took a body up in the air. Stjernberg looks to play it ahead to one of his forwards and trying to escape the zone. Waters doing the same, but is back up blue line. Bergmanis the shot in for a rebound. Falcons recover, held in the blue line. Nope, whistled offsides. Bergmanis' feet were outside the blue line when he touched it, and the puck will come out to neutral ice.
Bergmanis was really on the line as to where he could have gone with it, but they will rule it an offside now. The interesting thing, he used his hand to play it. If Bergmanis was the first person to touch it, then that's just all in well. But if it was someone else, then that would be considered a hand pass since it was in the neutral zone. But they'll just rule it an offside and we'll get it going.
Minnesota State with a shot right off the draw. Norris collects the puck off of Cole Moore and gets it out to center ice. Minnesota State recovered, forced it back in. BG has yet to really take the puck out of their own zone for an extended period of time. The pressure by Minnesota State on the forecheck been heavy. Emerson up the right wing, rinks it around the curved wall and down to Minville behind the goal line. The forward Jack Smith presses him up. Jack Smith, a transfer after last season from Minnesota Duluth. 28 points among his 3 seasons with the Bulldogs, and done pretty well this season for himself in Minnesota State, the senior in his final season of college hockey. Down the left side, pass to the slot. Hodson up in the air, no rebound for Bowling Green. Hodson from Stjernberg, a big chance, the best of the game so far, but nothing. Hodson goes to chase the puck in the corner. 2 Mavericks are there first, up at the blue line. Higgins holds it. Hodson and Martin. And this play is going to be waved off. And I think we're going to get a face-off to the left of Tracy.
Seems to be the case there, Ben, but really a bouncing puck taken away by Hodson. So close, but that just goes to show why any puck is so valuable. You can see it go anywhere you want, but either way, Bowling Green will clean house here with their forwards, and we're going to take this one away. Now on the right side, going to be facing Alex Tracy on their offensive zone.
Minnesota State leading 1-0, did so yesterday after 7 minutes and 34 seconds of play, and just a minute after that goal by Minnesota State, Bowling Green capitalized on their first goal, and then after that the Falcons led 3-1 after the first period in a game that they lost 5-4. Stjernberg a shot in, blocked by Minnesota State, the shin pad of Strand in the way. Down at the goal line, pass across the slot, Ryman was tied up, Hodson stands up on the bench wanting a penalty, but nothing there. Waters takes it in, an entry for the Falcons, close to offsides by Morneau. Grant's tied up. Stjernberg falls, holds it in the blue line though athletically, but it comes out to center anyway. BG has to get on sides in the circle back, and Bryce Strand will grab the puck behind his net. Bryce Strand, the son of head coach Luke Strand, 1 block and 17 penalty minutes in 5 games played before playing BG this season. 20 games since and 3 points. His only 3 points in the purple and gold. Behind the goal line, Emerson, a bank pass up to the left side, playing with Grant and Jeremy Minville today. That line changing up a bit from yesterday, as the middle 2 did. And the top line of Duran, Hodson, and Max Martin, finding 2 goals yesterday, will stay the same. Psychos behind the net with Wheeler. Wheeler the puck away, intercepted by Minville on the boards, trying to get it out to the blue line in open space. But again, the puck battle is won by Minnesota State, who streaks up the right side. A wrist shot by Tristan Lemire comes back and out of the zone. It's going to be offside. Stender gave a check to Minville. 1-0 Minnesota State leads. 11:20 to go in the first period.
Minville didn't seem too thrilled about that one with Stender, but Stender, a more physical player. It's going to be interesting to see what else he can bring to the table so far this game. But now that you're in the neutral zone, you're more on the defensive side of things. You'll have to take a look at it. You got that line of Durant out there with Hodson, and then Sternberg as well, so you got to be in good company and see if the Falcons can combine together here and make something happen.
In for the draw again, Scholl and Stender and Lurie, the three forwards. A minute ago we mentioned Tristan Lemire, who's the Falcon killer designated on this team. 2 goals and 2 assists in Game 1 against BG. That was on November 7th in Mankato of this season. That was Tristan Lemire. He's a transfer from Western Michigan. After last season, the last game he played as a Bronco was the 2025 National Championship, which Western Michigan won 6-2. Funny enough, the same score Bowling Green lost to Western Michigan in earlier on that season. So if the Falcons had got to the national championship, would have lost by the same as Denver did. It's not how that works, unfortunately. Minnesota State back in their own end, up to center ice, picked off by Blake, who pushes it forward and now has to play defense on Lurie. Lurie for the dump and chase, shoulder chase into the corner. Blake with a backhand pass around the net to Sloan. Sloan takes a check. Brandon Wynot takes it up the right side. Had a big goal in the third period yesterday to tie it up 4-4. Didn't end up mattering. The Falcons gave up a goal to Minnesota State with 2 minutes left in the game, but a big goal for Brandon Wynot on his first ever that beat a goaltender. Only 2 goals this season and the other one an empty net. In the corner, Wynot takes the body. Levis in as well. Nobody at the blue line to hold it, so Sloan has to come out to center on the logo and pick up the puck. 1-0 Minnesota State, 10 minutes to go in the first period. Puck up at center ice and now trickles back into Minnesota State territory. Jacob Conrad, a big slap shot yesterday, a goal against the Falcons. That in the second period. That was 3 goals in the second period for Minnesota State. And they lead 1-0 at the media timeout here in the first period. This one brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street, downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. Falcon hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Bowling Green women's tennis stays on the road, traveling to Cleveland State to battle the Vikings on Sunday, February 22nd at 10 a.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Charlotte Beauvais will have a recap of the match available on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for all BGSU athletics, news, and updates.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena during the media timeout. Honored on the video board, the equipment assistants for BG Hockey, Vince Hulse and Max Weaver, 2 great guys, both seniors, both in their last season with BG Hockey equipment, being honored, and that'll lead us into our first senior spotlight of the game. That's Brett Foe, who's not playing in the lineup today due to an injury he took against Notre Dame. From Port Moody, British Columbia, Foe came to BG from Spruce Grove Saints in the AJHL, scoring 5 points in his freshman season. Playing the vast majority of the last 2 seasons, Foe increased his point total to 15 in 2023-24, among 9 goals, and to 18 last season in a career-high 13 assists. Injured during overtime of the Notre Dame series in the second game here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, will amount to 11 points in his senior season unless he comes back and makes a pace for his career high, which he'd need 18 that he set last season. Career highlights include 2 goals and an assist and a quarterfinal loss to Michigan Tech 2 years ago, 3 assists and a win against Northern Michigan in February of last season, and most importantly, game-winning goal against Ohio State this season here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. That the only time that this Falcon senior class will have beaten the Buckeyes in their 4 years here at Bowling Green. Impressive for Brett Foe and for that crew to be able to beat the Big Ten opponent just in their final year and final game played against the Buckeyes. 9:30 to go in the first. Puck up into the O-zone for the Falcons, chasing 1 here midway through the first period. Behind the net, Psychos recovers the puck. He pushes it out to Watkins, who has a goal in this game today. Liam Watkins does, a transfer from Omaha after last season. 4 points in 15 games played with Omaha, and he's found a home here with Minnesota State on the first line. His 17th point of the season and his 6th goal today on that 1-0 making score for Minnesota State. Maverick puck in the corner. Higgins recovers, takes it up the right side of goaltender Cole Moore. LaBelle working in down the left side, pass to the slot, off of Higgins' stick, almost over the crossbar and in, but it stays on top of the net and trickles away. Slap shot on a one-timer. Bergmanis from the high left wing wheel and held on to by Cole Moore for his 9th save of the game.
What led to that offensive pressure by Minnesota State just got so close with the shot. That'll be their 10th one so far in the game on Cole Moore, but Jordan Ron just being relentless behind the net, trying to get that puck away. Almost got it, gets it right back, and then goes right back and along, trying to get that pass out, almost finds it, but now we'll get back for Minnesota State on their left face-off dot.
Finn Williams, Mason LaBelle, and Jordan Ron will stay out for Minnesota State. Bergmanis and Evan Murr, 2 defensive partners that have been together for 2 seasons now. Both of them seniors. Murr a junior, Bergmanis a senior. The second pairing of defensemen, Wheeler and Psychos, both of them seniors, and a 4D core that's one of the best in the CCHA, if not the best. Scoring, defense, leadership, everything among those 4 players. That with Alex Tracy is a pretty formidable wall of defense for this Mavericks team.
Exactly. That's what makes Minnesota State a juggernaut, if you will, in the CCHA that a lot of teams kind of fear is just their defensive presence. They know what they're bringing to the table. And when you have one of the best goaltenders, if not the best goaltender in college hockey of Alex Tracy, you know darn well that your defensive presence is there.
McKinley down the right wing, tries to feed it to the slot, but couldn't get the pass off. Niedermeyer ahead. The Falcons back on sides, but surrender the possession. Good poke ahead down the right side. It's played by Lemire on that right side. And the puck comes out of play somehow, maybe off the skate of a Falcon. So we'll get a face-off in the O-zone, I believe. That was off of Ian Somoza, the junior right winger.
Now we'll see, Ben, what can happen from this, but Somoza to get it. I mean, a guy that you know who's going to bring something to the table. His first year at Minnesota State last season, getting the national championship with Western Michigan. So we'll see what Minnesota State can do here. They're going to have Cole Moore on their right side. Defenseman a little bit more high. They're going to put that number 7 of Strand by the CCHA logo kind of out of the circle.
Watkins down the right wing. He's got it behind the net now. He's got the goal in this game. That's been the difference through 12 minutes of play here in the first. Martin ahead. Hodson with speed touches the puck ahead of Strand. Digging in the corner, Rylan Bonkowski, the freshman, on a freshman pairing of defensemen with Bryce Strand, Rylan Bonkowski. Each have played sizable minutes this season. Not every game, but in the test of the season have come away as the main 2 defensemen. Drop down to the ice. Stjernberg in from the blue line, holds it in. No forwards in deep to go pester Bryce Strand. Puck held in the blue line just barely, and Minnesota State will take it back in deeper, but they have the puck. On the right side with 7:30 to go in the first, moving it up through the middle. Lemire, his shot goes over the head of Cole Moore. On the boards on the right wing side, why not with the puck ahead? BG pushes it out to center. Sloan misses a check from Somoza. The rubber comes back in the Minnesota State side. Psychos and Wheeler back. Zetterberg with a taken check from Ryman. Didn't get to the puck at center ice. It's touched by Minnesota State, though, no icing. BG digs the puck out. Now a 4-on-3. Numbers for the Falcons if they can play them right. Sloan ahead. Down the left side comes Levis. Levis in the corner. Missed Dom Ryman behind the net. And he'll skate back to the bench with speed. Morneau holds it in the blue line, but it's called for offsides as it came out just a second after. 6:40 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Minnesota State.
Quite a close call on that one to see where it would go, but now that Bowling Green's starting to kind of advance on their presence here, we'll see what they can do with, I mean, you got that line out there of Waters, then you got Morneau leading it. We'll see what they can do as well with Ryman at the left wing.
He goes on the forecheck now, nearly a turnover. The puck just under the stick of Waters. Stender to the left side, just ahead of Scholl, so the Falcons will get there first, pick it off, but can't exit out of the zone. Stender behind the net. Niedermeyer pushes the puck free. Stender bumped into the boards with the shoulder of Bowling Green's senior defenseman, Jackson Niedermeyer. Puck ahead, Waters through center ice. Tried to push it between the legs of Evan Murr to Dominic Ryman. Ryman will go on a forecheck. Murr's going to take a penalty. He dumped Waters into the corner. Murr saying he wanted a slash, but it looks like the penalty is going to go to the alternate captain, defenseman for Minnesota State, and Bowling Green will go on a power play.
And there you'll have it. Murr going to take they're going to call it an interference penalty on that one against Murr. The first penalty of the game is 25th minute of the season. Maybe this is the momentum that BG needed. They only got one win so far this season while they're trailing after the first period. So down by one, they got 3 shots on goal all day, Ben. Now is they almost do or die time, if you will, for this period. Breck McKinley out high. They're going to pinch Dominic Ryman on that right side. So if you got that extra presence, you're really playing a 4-on-4, and then you got that extra man up high with McKinley as he'll get the puck.
BG up at the blue line, Ryman down. A big opportunity for offense here for the Falcons that have struggled to generate anything in the O zone here in the first period. 6 minutes to go in the first. Psychos peels the puck away off of a pile. BG holds it in. It's up high in the air over the head of McKinley, who lost sight of the puck. But BG will get back to the loose rubber first. In front of Cole Moore. Now they take it through center. Higgins opting for a drop pass. Now he goes up to the left wing instead. Higgins down behind the goal line. Strand lost his stick and cleared away by Minnesota State again. Nope, up into the ceiling. And they'll come back and see where they'll put the puck. Probably out at center ice.
That does seem to be the case here, Ben, but now that you have Jackson Niedermeyer, Tyler Hodson, Brody Waters, Ben Durant, and Gustav Sternberg out there, it's just going to be interesting to see. Bowling Green chose to change their lines up. Going to look for this extra man advantage. A minute 21 to remain on the Minnesota State penalty.
Bergmanis ahead. The Falcons recover the puck in the clear. A drop pass to Duran. Duran takes it up left side. Hodson. He gets it through the slot. Hodson with the puck poked away by Jordan Rahn. And the Falcons will have to cycle back around again. 60 seconds to go in the power play. The Falcons had 2 opportunities yesterday, one for about 30 seconds, one for the full time. Didn't score on either one. Onside is the call. Hodson behind the net. Speed out to the right side with the puck. Finn Williams breaks up a pass onto the right side. Waters, BG digging at the puck. Niedermeyer and Sternberg out and away and open ice waiting for a feed. Up to Niedermeyer. Gave it back to Hodson. Hodson looking for a shot. Easily glove saved by Tracy. The screen from Waters took him toward the inside of the net, but the shot was on the outside, so an easy view at the puck for the senior.
Sometimes a good play just doesn't quite pan out. I mean, you see Waters there setting the screen, the shot by Hodson. If you want to talk about a goal scorer, that's none other than Tyler Hodson. I mean, you look at him so far, 11 on the team, leads the Falcons so far in the goal scoring category, so really had a good look there. They're going to put McKinley high again at the blue line, so they're pinching a defenseman down low. And who else are we going to see than Ty Higgins?
McKinley to Higgins, slap shot, saved into the net. Only a couple seconds wasted on the power play, and BG gets a chance. 23 seconds to go in the man advantage. Evan Murr sits in the box for the next 23 seconds. He took a penalty yesterday, and that penalty was his first since March 1st of 2025, that against Bemidji State in the CCHA quarterfinal. 6 points on 2 goals and 5 assists for a career high in those categories, but no penalty minutes since then. And he had 2 yesterday, and he's got 2 today. The worst penalty taking stretch of the season for the junior defenseman that's been so solid at staying out of the box. A clear away from Minnesota State, and that'll kill the rest of this penalty for Bowling Green. Murr coming out in 4 seconds. McKinley gains entry up the left side. Psychos and Bergmanis behind the net. A check put on by Morneau. Ryman with the puck back in the O zone. Morneau in the corner with Psychos, and the puck skirted away by Minnesota State out to center ice, and a technically the 3rd penalty kill of the weekend for Minnesota State, and 2 of them coming for the full 2 minutes. Stjernberg dumps into the corner. He's got the speed ahead. The freight train puts a check on Bergmanis. Puck away behind the net. Max Martin battling for it. Looks to pass it to the slot. Grant, a shot. He got slashed. A penalty upcoming to Minnesota State. He was streaking down the slot. The senior wanted one on his senior night. And his stick broke. And it looks like somebody's going to go to the box. It's Benincasa defensively.
And there goes Benincasa. So out with 10 and then in with 9. Benincasa will go to the box on that one. As it seems to be that we'll be ruling that slash against Jaden Grant. He immediately wanted a call right after trying to get that one off. So you see 2 penalties right out of the gate. You'll have 1:29 remaining in the first period when you kill this penalty off for Minnesota State. And you only got 5 shots on goal, so now is the time to test Alex Tracy. As Coach Williams talked about yesterday, if you only get 5 or 6 goals on Tracy, it's most likely it's not going in.
Last home game of the regular season for Falcon hockey, and an update on the Slater Family Ice Arena. We have standing room only here today after 3,200 yesterday. Looked like more. Falcons on a power play waiting for this building to explode with their first goal of the game. Minnesota State up 1-0 with 3:15 to go in the first. Up the left side, Hotz in the dump and chase. Waters and Duran behind the net. Duran going for the puck against Psychos. Waters fighting for it as well. Still 50-50. 3 forwards behind the net for the Falcons, and it's cleared away by Mankato. A clinical penalty kill they've shown already today. Higgins with the puck next to his goaltender. Looks for the drop pass. It's defended by Scholl, forcing Higgins to gain the entry. Emerson ahead for Higgins. The Falcons opt to get it in that way. Morneau looks to push it out to the blue line. Minnesota State seems to be a step ahead of every pass Bowling Green's trying to make. McKinley on the left side blue line. McKinley down to the wheel. Looks for a pass defended by Scholl. In tight, Emerson. Now he circles it back out to McKinley into the blue line. Higgins trading places with McKinley, nearly a pick play. Here's Ryman looking in. His shot in a block. Looked like it might have got through to Tracy, but either way it goes into the net. 50 seconds to go on the man advantage.
Another good shot for Bowling Green. Just start getting those shots, getting them tested. Ryman there tried to have it. Looked he almost went on his left side, tried to go towards Tracy's blocker with Emerson setting the screen, but that's going to be another one going for Bowling Green. Just falls a tad short as they'll put Breck McKinley up high once again, and they'll put Ty Higgins low on that left side.
Face off one, McKinley on the right side, blue line, in deeper to Ryman. High slot, Ryman lost the puck for a second, now gets it left side, Higgins. 40 seconds to go on the power play. Higgins a shot, cross the slot, banked off of the curved wall, and out to center ice with no clear by Minnesota State, but it'll essentially be. Moore stops the puck behind his own net. He's allowed 1 goal and saved 9 shots. BG with 5 shots. Stjernberg entry, doesn't even look for the drop pass this time, again defended by Minnesota State. But that drew a wasted defender. Norris gives it back to the left side to Rand. He circles it back. Norris, a slap shot, fed in, blocked by Mason Wheeler, cleared away by Minnesota State. Back-to-back penalty kills, and out of the box will come Benincasa. BG still trailing 1 with 1:30 to go in the opening frame. Martin will get to the puck first in the corner. He circles it, looks for a pass to the slot. BG goes for a change to get some fresh legs on the ice. Korodiak skates back with the puck. Few games played for Korodiak as it's come into 2026. Higgins' entry into the lineup is hurt Korodiak's chances of playing. He and Simonovic in and out of the lineup. And Jack Blake playing so well hurts Korodiak's playing time as well. Up at the high, here's Niedermeyer. His slap shot goes wide right. A good chance for the defenseman. Korodiak through the middle. Falcons up ahead. On sides is Bowling Green. Bumped with the puck was Minville. 40 seconds to go in the first period. Benincasa down the left wing into the O-zone. Looking to get it out to another purple jersey. McKinley forces him away from the puck. Lemire high slot shot in to Cole Moore. And the junior makes a save with 32 seconds to go in the first.
And a good save there for Moore, but I mean, just a close call as Korodiak was really trying to take that puck in and then got it taken away from him ever so slightly. Had to almost stop and just do the splits to avoid being offside, but Korodiak, a guy who's trying to get his name out there, doing his best that he can, but I mean, so far, as you mentioned earlier with the standing room, the crowd is here for Bowling Green, and it's only a matter of time before they erupt. 32 seconds remain in the first period.
On the dot, Jack Smith loses the face-off. 25 seconds to go in the first. On the right wing boards, Emerson in for the puck. 30 points in 31 games played. Had a point per game coming into yesterday, but didn't score yesterday, and thus he's behind the 8 ball now, looking for that point per game. The point per game forward for the Falcons is what they're looking for. That would be the first time since Austin Swankler in the 2022-23 season. He had over 40 points in that campaign. Puck behind the net of Minnesota State when the horn sounds. So the Falcons not able to score in the first. Minnesota does with Liam Watkins assisted by Tristan Lemire and Luigi Benincasa. Gavin, Jacob, and I believe Artie back in the Cooling Center studio. We'll walk you through our Rick Crow First Intermission Report in a minute. But before we send you on to them, we'll talk another senior spotlight, and we'll talk about number 26, the defenseman Jack Blake, a native of Manhattan Beach, California. He joined BG in January of 2022, playing his first games that October after practicing for the 4 or 5 months before that. His best season of the last 4 years was in 2023-24, skated in 25 games and took an assist against Lake Superior State in the middle of November. This season has been his best scoring season, though. 2 assists within a month of each other, earlier on in November and December against Ferris State and Northern Michigan. He still searches for his first goal. Hopefully he'll get it today or next week, as he's playing pretty heavily as the season has progressed. Jack Legacy Falcon, obviously son of BGSU Hall of Famer and NHL Hall of Famer Rob Blake, who won a Norris Trophy and 2 Stanley Cups, one as an executive and one as a player. Jack was honored with the nomination for the Hockey Humanitarian Award, one of just 12 nominees across both men's and women's college hockey to win a humanitarian award. Jack Blake, number 26, honored in senior night tonight. Intermission coming up from the Cooling Center studios. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Looking for a BG Athletics discussion show? Check out The Swoop, where a rotating cast of Falcon Media Sports Network co-hosts talk everything BGSU athletics. New episodes are available every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel.
Hi, I'm Anna Sidek. I'm a freshman setter from BGSU volleyball team, and that's my 4 self-care habits. So the first one is drinking a coffee because it helps me to be just energized like during the day. Second thing would be reading a book. I'm a such bookworm and I just love it. Other one would be listening to music because like music keeps me calm and I just love it. And the last thing, but not the least, it would be like starting with Santi, our athletic trainer, because he keeps my body safe and everything. So I'm really grateful for
On Tuesday, September 24th, BGSU men's soccer recorded 40 shots against Eastern Illinois, the most in a match since 1996. This has been history in Falcon Athletics.
Check out bgfalconmedia.com for previews, recaps, photos, videos, and more of the Falcons.
Back in the Cooling Center, WBGU 88.1 FM for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on Minnesota State University. Current score is 1-0. Minnesota State has the edge in that one. This first intermission report is brought to you by Rick Crow, longtime BGSU hockey fan and listener of Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM. Artie and Jacob. I'm going to start with Jacob here, Artie. But Jacob, your first impressions of this first intermission. Obviously, the Mavericks are up 1-0 on the Falcons. But first reactions out of this first intermission.
Yeah, I mean, with Minnesota State, they scored 3 minutes into the game, so that's really not the start you were looking for. I mean, I know that was one of the things that we in the booth talked about as one of the keys to the game is coming out hot and really attacking this Minnesota State team. And I mean, it was a couple shots in a row, and it just squeaked past Cole Moore, so you can't put it on him or anything. But I think for the rest of the period, they were attacking, but they had their opportunities and they did not capitalize on them. I mean, they did have 2 power plays. They didn't score on either. I don't believe they got a shot on either power play either. So, I mean, you'd just like to see a little bit more from them. If that's attacking the net more, being more creative in the O-zone, whatever it is, just to really start peppering this goalie like Gavin was talking about before the game started.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's been a really slow start so far for BG. I mean, you don't really have a goal on the board yet, but it just hasn't been the start you wanted for them. I mean, they only have 5 shots on goal, as you mentioned. It just hasn't been that aggressiveness you like. And they've had 2 power plays, and they still haven't been able to capitalize on either of those. But I will say they have a history of, opening these second periods with a goal, with a really aggressive play. I mean, Coach Dennis Williams, he really likes that open that second period with like a straight up attack out of that break. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do something similar here. They really come out with a lot of fire and aggressiveness, the stuff we've really been waiting for in this first period.
I mean, Arnie and I have covered a couple of different games at the Cooling Center where it's been that exact same formula. I mean, Bowling Green lets up 1 goal, and then that second period is when they come out and score sometimes 2. I feel like
it has been 2 a couple times, yeah.
But I mean, you can't say it's going to be the formula of the game because obviously it hasn't happened every single time. But you guys mentioned it. Bowling Green only has 5 shots on goal compared to Minnesota State's 11. So, I mean, they're kind of getting not as much offensive action that you are hoping out of the Falcons, but we can't sigh out of relief. It's first intermission. Cole Moore, honestly, he's doing okay. First time being back-to-back games, and I don't have that stat pulled up. I probably should pull that up before the second intermission. But, I mean, he's doing okay. I mean, he's blocking a lot, letting up 1 goal.
It definitely feels like he's settled more into it. I would say, obviously, there's still a lot of time left to play, but after that, he let that first one by, it seems he's settled in a little bit more, at least throughout this period. But, he did let up a lot of goals in the later half of the game, so it's something to watch going forward, at least last night.
And it's something that him and Steinman I've seen as this year has gone on. Whenever they let up a goal, they take it personally. Like, if you go to the slate and you watch the goalies, I mean, obviously you're watching the goalies if it's near them, but if the puck's near them. But if they let up a goal, they take it personal. Like, they're hitting themselves in the head. They're taking all of the blame. I mean, that's just kind of the way the hockey works, though. I mean, it's not really like you are your own worst enemy in hockey, I feel like. So that's just how Moore and Steinman play, and T's and P's out to Steinman as he is out for the season. But Cole Moore is stepping up into his role. We will be right back here on WBGU 88.1 for the rest of your first intermission report, brought to you by Rick Crow.
I guess I called AA because alcohol didn't work anymore. Drinking used to give me a sense of meaning in life. I called AA not knowing what to expect. Certainly not cheerfulness, but that's what I got. People had humor. They seemed to be at ease. I hung around. Now I feel much more comfortable with myself and the people around me.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
What's going on, guys? I'm Darius Lorfields, junior safety here at BG. My Falcon 4 favorite things for homecoming, definitely seeing some of the alumni, the big crowd, hearing them roar, the Falcon walk pregame, getting to see more people, and then just winning the game overall and celebrating after. Go Falcons.
In Bowling Green football's 41-17 season opening victory over Fordham on August 29th, junior Justin Pace set a program record with a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown on the first play of the game. Falcon Media Sports Network's Reese Patricus had the call on Falcon Radio.
Go back up and field it on the goal line. Trying to take to the right, got some blocks, got a hole. Peg was down the far sideline, and he's got space in front of him. 10-5, touchdown BG brings back the opening kickoff. What a way to start the season.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio. Ben Korak and the Falcon Media Sports Network crew covering the Falcon hockey team throughout the season.
Back here in the Coolant Center, WBGU 88.1 FM for your first intermission report, brought to you by Rick Crow. We're going to do around college hockey and around the CCHA. There's no other CCHA games going on right now. Those puck drops are, Lake Superior State and Northern Michigan, that is currently live at the moment. And then also we have Augustana versus St. Thomas, also live happening, or that will be at 8:07 tonight. Currently, Northern Michigan is up on Lake Superior State 1-0, where, this game, Minnesota State against Bowling Green is 1-0 on Minnesota State. That Lake Superior State and Northern Michigan game really doesn't matter for CCHA play as we go a little bit later down, as Lake Superior State is currently third to last with 26 points, and Northern Michigan's at 12. So Northern Michigan, we brought up at the pregame show. You guys had a season, but unfortunately, I don't think you guys are gonna make it to the CCHA playoffs, and that's what everybody's striving for. 8 with. Sorry, my apologies. With only 9 teams in the CCHA and only 8 teams allowed in, it's kind of like fighting for scraps at the CCHA. Around college hockey, other games that are keeping an eye on, I guess you could say. You got Miami of Ohio taking on Minnesota Duluth. That's number 9 team in the country taking on number 20 team in the country. A little bit closer to home, I would say. Michigan taking on Wisconsin, number 2 against number 13. That's another ranked matchup. Ohio State's taking on Penn State. Penn State's currently 6th in the nation. Ohio State is unranked, but a former opponent of Bowling Green hockey. And then Western Michigan taking on Colorado COL. That will be at 8 p.m. tonight. So Western Michigan being 4th in the country, definitely something. That is kind of crazy, though. The top 3 out of the top 4 teams in the country, all Michigan universities. You got, Michigan State, Michigan, and Western Michigan. But as we dip a little bit closer into the Frenzy 4, Jacob, do you have that pulled up for a predictor for the Frozen? What is it, Frozen 4, or is it the? It's the Frozen 4. Yeah. Your mic's not. But the Frozen 4. Do you a little bit of looking ahead as we get into playoff hockey as a whole?
Yeah. So I mean, there's. Like you mentioned with the Michigan teams, those 3 are basically our locks for the Frozen 4 right now. Michigan State being the number 1 team in the country at 23-6, and then Michigan number 2 at 24-5-1. After that, you have North Dakota, who's number 3 in the nation, and then number 4 Western Michigan. And then going down below, there's teams that are most likely. You got Penn State number 5, Quinnipiac at number 6, and then Providence number 7, Denver at number 8. And then just to the looking good section, they have it. You got number 9 Minnesota Duluth, who we mentioned is playing tonight. Number 10 Cornell, number 11 Dartmouth, number 12 UConn, and then this is the in the field section where we start to see a lot more CCHA teams. So to start that, you have number 13 St. Thomas, and then number 14 Boston College, number 15 Wisconsin, and then after that they have the work to do section, which this is where we get pretty much everyone else in the CCHA. So we got Minnesota State, who BGSU is playing tonight, obviously, currently losing 1-0. Augustana, who they played last weekend, my apologies, and they split the series. And then Michigan Tech, who BGSU will be playing next weekend for their final series of the year. And then also rounding out that category, you have Bowling Green themselves, and then UMass.
So pretty much the only team that has a chance at the Frozen 4 out of the CCHA would probably be St. Thomas, right?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, barring some miraculous things from other CCHA teams,
Michigan Tech is a sneaky little pick there, though.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't know if they got it compared to St. Thomas personally. I mean, they've been battling for that top spot all year, but it's been pretty much St. Thomas's conference to lose since the start of the season.
I mean, Michigan Tech also did. They kind of came out of nowhere, I feel like, with with the way that the season has gone along, because if you told me back in November that Michigan Tech is going to be number 2 in the CCHA, I wouldn't have believed you. But we're just about 2 minutes away from sending it out to Ben and Dan back at the slate. So final thoughts, Jacob and Artie, before we get into the second intermission. Keep it 10 words or less, Artie.
I would say the Falcons are going to try to open this one up with a goal to open up the second period.
Yeah, you got to come out hot, and you got to capitalize on those power play opportunities.
Absolutely. We're going to play one promo, and then we'll send it out to Ben and Dan out at the slate. Thank you for listening to the First Intermission Report, brought to you by Rick Crow. This on WBGU 88.1 FM. You ready, sir?
Falcon Media Sports Network now has a pregame and postgame show, along with intermission reports for every BGSU hockey broadcast, starting 25 minutes before each game. Make sure to tune in to hear insights and knowledge from Falcon Media Sports Network analysts. You can listen to every broadcast on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey. Also streaming on bgfalconmedia.com.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio. This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, the Falcons and the Minnesota State Mavericks going at it for their second game of a 2-game series, the last game of their season series, one that Minnesota State has the advantage in right now at a 5-4 regulation win over Bowling Green yesterday, and they try to go for the sweep today as they make a run at the top of the CCHA. The Falcons now, Dan, just out of a home playoff spot, which is unfortunate for a Bowling Green team that you think is definitely better than last year, certainly in a better position than last year, and just haven't found their way up in the standings yet.
It's just so crazy, Ben, how, I guess, fluid the CCHA is, if you will. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing's guaranteed. You look at Bowling Green in that 5th spot right now, and really just the loss yesterday to Minnesota State is what catapulted them up. But, I mean, you look earlier in this year, Bowling Green was at 3rd, really battling for that 2nd, maybe even 1st spot in the CCHA, but now you're down to 5th. So looking at the standings-wise, where you're going to end up going with it, you could end up playing somewhere along the lines of a Bemidji State or Lake Superior, if not Minnesota State, but you're going to have to claim this one first and then get a win in regulation against Michigan Tech if you want to be at home ice.
A lot of it looking forward, but we take a step back into the here and now, and we start the second period with a 1-0 Minnesota State lead. Liam Watkins in the first period, his 6th goal of the season, assisted by his line mates Tristan Lemire and Luigi Benincasa. Puck into the offensive zone for Minnesota State immediately. It's Stender in the corner. BG recovers the puck and takes it back in. Here's Quinn Emerson behind the net. He pokes it away to Grant. The seniors get it out to the junior defenseman Gustav Sternberg. Mason Wheeler the try to clear. Jack Blake collapses in toward the goal line, holds the puck in. Away to the right side, clear possession for Scholl, who will not elect to clear it away. He'll go back down deeper to his defenseman. Psycho's an outlet pass up, tipped by Lurie. He'll go off to the bench and back out behind the net as Cole Moore to stop the puck. Hodson an entry right side for the Falcons, trying to generate some offense that was minimal in the first period. Only 5 shots on goal. Pass to the slot, blocked by Minnesota State. Up to center ice, Watkins with speed. He moves in, good move. Right side, Watkins puts a shot on and just saved by Moore. The rebound angling away from the encroaching purple and gold. Karodiak behind the net. He got it out on the right side. Plays the body down into the orange ring around the bottom of the boards. Out to the left side, Benincasa. His pass is blocked. Into the boards again and back up blue line for Bergmanis. Bergmanis' shot in. Pushed away from the puck. Karodiak with a nice check. BG with the puck on the right side. Hodson down to Ben Duran. Minnesota State is just wasted. Bowling Green's first line of Duran, Hodson, and Max Martin, and they're back into the O-zone now. Offsides against Minnesota State. The bench doesn't like it, but the puck will come back out to center, and the Falcons will get a new line out.
Mason LaBelle just kind of got caught in a bit of an interesting scenario here. I mean, you look at that far right side, as out of the play entirely, as you get Watkins trying to drive that in on the left side, but that's just the result of it, is you're going to get a offside there just on it from LaBelle. As now you'll be on the left side. Bowling Green more in their defensive territory, and we'll be back at it.
Ryman tips it head into the O-zone. Strand will gather the puck in the corner, It won't come out to the blue line where Higgins stood. Niedermeyer will touch up the puck. He'll get there first with Lurie. Tosses Lurie down to the ice. Niedermeyer and Higgins back defensively. A solid crew for the Falcons. Them, McKinley, Stjernberg, Norris. Most of the starters back in besides Braden Crampton serving a suspension along with Reed Morick for a fight that occurred yesterday. Higgins up at center ice. Rylan Bonkowski, his brother Jacob Bonkowski, also a sophomore for Minnesota State. Rylan a freshman, but Jacob doesn't play nearly as much on the forward end as Rylan does on the defensive end. Through the middle of the ice, Minville streaking in, but defended perfectly by Mason Wheeler. That's what he does so well. The captain has been around a while and knows what he's doing, especially defensively. Not known as a big scorer, only 7 points and no goals this season. Center ice nearly picked off by the Falcons. Somoza turns it around up to the blue line. Now it is picked off by Jaden Grant. 3 in for Bowling Green. Grant's pass out to the right side. Emerson didn't land. Minville, Grant, Emerson in the offensive zone and cleared out by Mankato. PG with the puck, center ice. Here's Karodiak, who gets it poked away, and Emerson will range back to grab it. Deep looking pass for McKinley. Got it up to Sloan, who got it right to his tape and then lost it for a second. Why not? Gains the side of Murr where the puck was angling toward. Levis in with Murr. Lifted out to center ice, Lurie. Higgins pushes it ahead, and it's going to be whistled as a hand pass against Ty Higgins in a routine call for the referees here tonight.
Yeah, Higgins just really laid his body out, tried to pinch up to get that on his hand, but just out of nowhere it ends up going. Levis is the one who gets it on his stick, which it's got to be Higgins to be the first person to end up touching it since it was his hand. As now we'll go to the far side, the north end of the Madhouse on Mercer. Bowling Green to get a line change going as well of Max Martin, Tyler Hodson, and Ben Duran. So we'll see what they can do here. Playing more defensively now against Minnesota State. Still only 5 shots on goal so far in the game.
A line that Willie yesterday in the press conference expressed great pride in and how they played, combining for 2 of the 4 goals BG scored yesterday. Some very nice play, especially Max Martin and Tyler Hodson, but also Ben Duran, the centerman, the anchor of that line that made it solid defensively as well. And BG's come out in the second period. We're 16-20 left to go in the second, and they've come out playing very much like it was in the first. Minnesota State keeping the puck in the O-zone, and now we're going to get a penalty assessed to Ben Duran. Interference call against the junior forward, and we're going to get a 2-minute power play for Minnesota State.
The second interference penalty of the game, as that's also the first one today by the Orchard Browns, so that's going to go against Duran, but we'll see what happens here. That's his 29th minute so far of the year, if you will, so you look for another one as you just see the interference going right in front of the net. Take that one back and away on Benincasa.
Murr up at the blue line to hold it in. Another staple on this power play unit that's stayed the same since they played against Bowling Green earlier this year. It's Murr up at the point, Jack Smith on the right, Benincasa as well in the middle as he's looking for a pass. It gets to Benincasa, disrupted by the Falcons, poked away out to center ice, and the Falcons will elect to continue playing and not go for a change. Smith, Benincasa, Zetterberg, Lemire, and Murr. The odd man out there, Alex Zetterberg, but his job, go down to the goal line and get the puck into the slot for Benincasa, and a job he does very well, a power play point earlier this season against the Falcons in the 4-4 tie. Karodiak to rink it away, he does. Murr will have to gather, and the Falcons wasting this power play unit unless they're going to pull the full 2 minutes of the man advantage. It's down to 62 seconds. Lemire up to the left side. Jack Smith tosses it into the corner. Lemire chases. Stjernberg to try and clear. Went off the back of Ryman, and on the rebound off of Ryman, the Falcons able to clear it again. Minnesota State does get a change. Their second unit out. Bonkowski back with Murr defensively. Watkins, Lurie, and Somoza ahead. Somoza down the right wing. Pass to the middle. Save made. Cole Moore standing tall as Lurie was encroaching. Behind the goal line, McKinley. Niedermeyer in the corner to try and clear it, and he does clear it. A nice clear with a man coming and approaching his face. Here's Conrad with Bonkowski. Conrad, a slap shot goal yesterday Played on the power play a lot for Lake Superior State, where he played last season, and transferred to Minnesota State. Another shot in. Good deflection by Cole Moore. A rebound chance, and it's cleared away again by the Falcons. That'll kill the penalty. Duran out of the box in a second. And a big stop for Bowling Green there to hold it a 1-goal game. Conrad up to the left side. A shot into Cole Moore. He'll glove, hold on, and let his guys take a rest after a pretty good penalty kill.
Still testing those shots up high on Moore, as we see there. Benincasa trying to get into the play, as well as we see more of just Watkins. But what a kill that was for Bowling Green, as 16 shots on goal, just that one up high for Minnesota State. We're able to keep it minimal. As for Bowling Green, they still only got 5, which when you got a goaltender like Alex Tracy, you need to get as many shots on goal as you can. And right now, Bowling Green just struggling offensively to find those shots on Tracy.
And the dot, Stender wins it back. Quick shot, Lurie. Save made Cole Moore. Dancing on the slot. Carried away by Tyler Hodson. A flurry of sticks and puck there for a second. Martin on a backhand pass down to Duran, who puts a check on Wheeler. A D-to-D pass from Wheeler to Psychos. Scholl up the ice. Norris will skate back to gather the puck. Held in the blue line. At the point. Wheeler the shot. Blocked. He's frustrated. And a good block by the Falcons to kick that one into the net.
It looked like Max Martin was the guy who got his stick on that one to get it knocked away, but really that's just what you need to do, is get that defensive presence, especially if you have to go up high for it. Just look for where it's at and then take it beyond where else you can go, but really just look for where those shots are going from, be able to play that pressure and keep that gap open for Moore so he can see it, and so if he's not screened, he can take that one back and away again.
13:46 to go in the second. 1-0 Minnesota State leads. Liam Watkins 3 minutes into the first period and nothing since for either of these two teams. Benincasa and Morneau. Benincasa, the junior, loses the faceoff to the freshman Morneau. Pushed ahead by Murr. Picked off center ice by Niedermeyer. He throws it high, about chin high, into the corner. Bergmanis off of the boards. Peels it away. Stjernberg getting physical there with Tristan Lemire. Stjernberg pushes it ahead. He's the lead man into the zone, and now he'll circle back and go play some defense. Benincasa gets the puck played away by Cole Moore as it got to him before the forward from Minnesota State. Bergmanis had the puck ahead but had to wait for onsides. BG recovers. It's Niedermeyer on the right side in his own zone. 13:04 to go in the second period. BG's not yet scored. Still looking to do that in a crowd here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. You can tell Dan ready to erupt. Tension high and a lot of bodies. Standing room only as of right now. Dom Ryman on the corner in his own zone where the puck has lived today. Finn Williams digging at it. The puck excavated out and looking to the blue line is Williams. He'll hold on. Shot in to Cole Moore. Puck on a rebound. Cleared away by the Falcons. Strand tosses it into the corner from the blue line point. Emerson batting at the puck into the other corner. There first is Mason LaBelle. LaBelle, the fourth line right winger, down to Williams, missed him, and Stjernberg will look for a deep pass. He lifts it up. BG will be the first in. Emerson tossed Conrad down to the ice without a full check. BG with the puck, look to clear to the slot. Grant, Karodiak slap shot blocked by Somoza up at the blue line, and now Minnesota State carries it away after a quick offensive drive for BG. Locked up at center ice. Levis on a poke check. Karodiak recovers, pestered by Jack Smith, and Karodiak utilizes the net as a pick and carries it up center ice. Why not dumps it in? A deep puck for Psychos. The freshman Sloan digs it away. Minnesota State, an outlet to Zetterberg on the right side. A distant cousin is Zetterberg of the future Hall of Famer for the Red Wings, Henrik Zetterberg. Why not down the left side? His shot is blocked. A stick block by Psychos as he was back skating and just a step behind the freshman. Hodson on a big forecheck. Zetterberg the puck away. Psychos up the ice. Somoza blew a tire. Had a breakaway had he held on to the blade. And BG with the puck in their own end. 11 minutes to go in the second period. 1-0 Minnesota State. Down the left wing they come. Shot in toward Cole Moore. He steers it into the corner off of his kickers. Martin bumped as the puck got to his tape. Stender going in the corner. And as I've mentioned a lot, Minnesota State still in the O-zone. Puck in the corner for Scholl, back up left wing side. Bergmanis slap shot on the weak side by Scholl. A light slap shot, but still a one-timer and saved by the junior netminder for the Falcons. Murr behind the net. Norris peeling the puck away. Up to center ice. Lurie forces it down again. And again, right to Stender on the left side in the corner. BG with a hit. BG with the puck. Max Martin gets bumped, spun it away. Still in the O-zone is Minnesota State. This unit skating tired. Zetterberg a slap shot, another weak side from the left side. That was Lemire actually. He's got it at the high left wing wheel. He's working in. Slot gives it away. One-timer to Watkins over his stick. In the corner, BG still trying to clear the puck and get a change, which is long. Puck behind the net. A diving pass block. Strand with the puck in tight and a penalty upcoming. Or at least the play whistle dead. Caught up high maybe was Dalton Norris. 9:42 to go in the second period. And actually Watkins is going to be sent off, likely for high sticking, Dan. I don't know if you saw anything there.
It kind of looks like a high stick, and it looks like, though, too, just as that play kind of went down on Cole Moore, that something happened in that play, but Minnesota State really tried to keep that one in low instead of going up high on Cole Moore, and it really resulted in that one. And Bowling Green was desperate to get kind of a breather, get a break going, as they'll have it now at the media timeout.
This timeout brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company. Visit their website, juniperbrew.com, or visit them in person, 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green. Falcon Hockey trailing 1 midway through the second. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
I didn't think it was possible for me to be an alcoholic. I was 24 with a good career. I thought I was too smart and that alcoholism only happened to middle-aged men and celebrities. I thought something else was making me sick, shaky, and afraid to face people. Then I found AA and discovered it wasn't something else, it was alcohol. AA helped me find a new life.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
Check out recaps of this and every BGSU hockey match online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Jackson Niedermeyer celebrating senior night tonight. Number 12 came to BG after 3 seasons with Arizona State, skating 59 games, scoring 19 points through both playing as a forward and a defenseman. Transferred to BG in hopes of seeking a set forward opportunity. Found that last season. 2 goals, both game winners, and 6 assists in 33 games played. But after just 3 games this year against Bemidji State in the 3rd game of the year, skated some defense and answered Dennis Williams' call and moved back to defense, where he's played every single healthy game since and is only 1 point away for a career high in college hockey. His career highlight was a game winner against Ferris State and Northern Michigan last year. His only 2 goals last season as a Falcon. BG on a power play. Sent to the box was Liam Watkins for high sticking against Dalton Norris, and a clear immediately for Minnesota State. And now the Falcons with their 3rd opportunity. You're getting to the point this weekend, but especially today, Dan, where you really need to convert on one of these.
You're due for it, and really you only got 5 shots on goal, as well as we haven't been keeping track of the time, but it seems for at least 5 or 6 minutes it's been without a Bowling Green shot with 9:14 to go. We really need to get this play going, as now you got a power play, a great opportunity to make it happen.
Higgins open ice, an entry for the Falcons that they've struggled to gain today. Higgins fed in, Emerson backside chipped up, and a crowd member is going to go home with a souvenir. Actually, they're going to confiscate from them. Pucks, I guess, getting more expensive, and inflation, you want to hold on to those pucks.
Well, normally they have staff just go over and make sure that everybody nearby is okay, as you got to just look out for that. But, I mean, Bowling Green really that's another example for Bowling Green. They've had a beautiful opportunity up ahead, and the puck was just tipped or taken short away from Minnesota State.
Waters pushes it back up to the blue line. Face-off win for Bowling Green, so no entry needed. Here's Hodson in the corner, pestered by 2 Mavericks. Here's open ice. Stjernberg, his shot just beat Tracy, but he couldn't fill it through. Stjernberg all alone on the left side. The defenseman couldn't bury it. 8:40 to go in the second. 55 seconds to go on the man advantage. BG with a big chance, but no score yet. Cleared away past Norris and down to Cole Moore, and he'll stop it next to the net. BG circles back, likely enough for one more drive if they're able to gain the zone. Norris to Waters. Waters goes down behind the net. Hodson with speed carries it around to the slot. Shot in. Tracy, he lost sight of it, and then he covered it up as it dropped down at his feet.
Sternberg here really trying to pitch heavy. As you saw, he had nobody in front of him that tried to get the shot high on Tracy, as that was knocked away just ever so slightly. But now that you got the defenseman pitching, you know that this is the time to need to do it. What I've noticed, though, with all these Bowling Green shots, they're going for Tracy's blocker. You need to try to the glove a little bit if you can. I mean, if you're trying something and it's not working, maybe it's about time to switch it up. But that line of Brody Waters to be out there with Tyler Hodson and Ben Duran, and then on defense you get Sternberg and Morneau, it's only about time.
And for the draw, Duran. Back up is Sternberg. Gaining position is Finn Williams. He tried to clear but wasn't able to do it. Waters on the curved wall with Hodson. 15 seconds to go on the man advantage. Hodson looking to backhand it away to Waters. Could get it out to the blue line. Open ice for both the Goose and Dalton Norris. Back up slot. Wrist shot saved by Alex Tracy as he gave a slap to Ben Duran. And we're going to drop puck with 3 seconds to go. Long trek out of the box for Liam Watkins, as he'll either elect to go to the bench or he'll elect to go to the play. But either way, it's going to be a long skate for the Maverick to get in the play if the Falcons can win the draw.
All you got to do now, Ben, is just put a defenseman out high and take him going a little bit out of the play, put him near the neutral zone now, as it looks like they are going to have both McKinley and Kurodiak looking towards that box. Instead, normally they'd put a defenseman kind of a little bit lower on the circle, as they know he's going to be coming out in 3 seconds. And the last thing you want is a breakaway right on Cole Moore.
Watkins ready to go. Face off back to BG. They take it into the corner. Watkins out of the box, and he gets into the play. Why not back up to the blue line? McKinley, his shot knocked down just in the slot by Jake Sloan. Levis was battling net front as well. It's where the Falcons were putting an emphasis on positioning themselves today. They've been able to do it in a limited amount of times that they've had shots on goal. It's only been 9, and we're over halfway through the second period. 1 goal for Minnesota State, none for the Falcons. Puck back in the own zone behind the net of Alex Tracy. Emerson sweeps it out to Higgins, makes a good move and makes Watkins miss on a block attempt on the pass. Emerson down into the corner with Sloan. Sloan backhands it slot. Minville's pushed as he shoots the puck, and Lemire and Benincasa break it away. Lemire down the left wing, Benincasa on the right, looks to give it up. Pass, good one into Benincasa toward Cole Moore, and Moore's able to break it up with some defensive help. Stick down on the ice, somebody playing without one. It was a Maverick, they got off. Grant into the corner, puck free. BG battling for it, 50-50, one back to the Falcons. Emerson, his shot just missed right. Niedermeyer behind the net, Grant as well behind the goal line. Emerson in the corner with fellow senior Jaden Grant playing on a line today. 6:20 to go in the second period, 1-0 Minnesota State leads. Puck down to the BG end, Kurodiak gathers and waits for his guys to get in the right formation. Puck up center ice, perfect pass. And knocked down to the ice by Bergmanis was Waters. He took a heavy tumble into the boards, is slow to give up. Sternberg up in the air, down to the dot, Conrad with it, he circles his net. Jack Smith to the left side, he goes out to center to Somoza, who had a goal yesterday, but Somoza couldn't break this one out. Norris looks for a pass. He goes along the boards to do it. Ryman with the tip. Behind the net, Conrad gathers. 5:30 to go in the second. Strand up to center ice. BG with the puck. It's Martin back between his own wheels. Ahead for Strand. He grabs and dumps. It's going to be an icing against Minnesota State. So now the Falcons will get a change. They'll get to put the right guys on the ice, and they'll get an O-zone chance.
Really going to need an opportunity here, Ben, as credit to them to get up to 9 shots on goal, able to get 4, and just the play get it going as Waters seems to be a little shaken up, but okay. for the most part from that one. But you talk about that line change putting Jack Blake out there with Sternberg on defense. I think this is really where it's going to shine. If they're going to get a shot, it's going to be from getting the screen on Tracy, and that's how it's going to find the back of the net.
Duran in for the draw. Hodson and Max Martin. One back. Hodson went for a shot, got slashed by Scholl. Lurie pushes it ahead. Jack Blake will range into the corner. He defends the puck a little bit. Minnesota State gets bullied into the boards. Scholl behind the net of Cole Moore. 5 minutes to go in the second. 1-0 Minnesota State leads. Up ahead to center. Puck out to the right side. Hodson fires it in on sides for Martin. Martin in tight. A rebound chance. Duran. And it's cleared away somehow. Hodson with it up at the blue line. McKinley with the puck. Down into Duran. Minnesota State settles in. Pass through the slot up to the right side. Higgins down to Hodson, down to Martin. Now to Duran, left side, cycling the puck. Slap shot at the slot by Hodson, never landed, and the puck is cleared away. Pushed ahead, Scholl will come into the BG corner. Duran presses Scholl up. BG, 3 Falcons digging at the puck, and Minnesota State just glides in there at the last second and gets it. Here's Murr, his shot into the corner. Into the corner, off of the side of the cage. Martin away, a bank pass up, and there for Bonkowski. 4 minutes to go in the second period. Lemire down the right wing, got a man in the slot, deflected in, what a save, Cole Moore. Watkins from Lemire, a great chance, a great A, and they couldn't feed it through. Duran in the corner to pick up the puck. Cole Moore standing tall today, he's got 21 saves and a goal allowed here, and the late goings of the second. Bergmanis a pass in. Now Murr pass to the slot. Bergmanis fakes a slap shot. Back up blue line. Murr at the center. Now moves it to the left. Defended by the Falcons. Another block on a pass in. Why not? Clears it away. BG will race for the puck. It's Connor Levis. In on Evan Murr. Levis in the corner. Murr makes a good play. 3:15 to go in the second. Puck tossed in toward Moore. He gloves and drops, and he'll let his guys play it out. Down the right wing comes Grant with Minville streaking toward the slot. Grant works in toward Tracy, and he lets the puck hit him in the leg, and then he covers it up. 3 minutes exactly to go in the second, and 1-0 Minnesota State.
A tough go at it for Bowling Green. Really starting to get a little desperate here on Tracy, trying to get something to just find its way through, but Tracy so far today just really been an absolutely phenomenal goaltender with his 11 saves. Just every single Falcon shot not able to find the back of him. He's still got this one going as Bowling Green going to try to get this line going out. The defensemen are more pushed back. Minnesota State's not going to put someone in the corner. They'll put 3 right in front of Tracy, which I think is part of, too, why he's been so successful. And Tracy is because he's got that defensive support, which has been ever so critical for Minnesota State.
Emerson after a face-off win. In tight for Minville. 3 players on this line having the number 8 on their sweater. Jaden Grant, number 28. Quinn Emerson, number 18, and Jeremy Minville, number 8. Niedermeyer, his first shift in a while, and he'll dig it off of the boards. Tossed in to Niedermeyer and Cole Moore, who plays it away to his senior defenseman. Up at the wheel, give it up to Strand. Strand, an open shot into Cole Moore, and he'll hold on in front of the student section. 2:30 to go in the second.
Another good block there for Moore, and really starting to get that pressure up high is really where Minnesota State's trying to just get this one going, as they're looking to get up high and get that screen on Moore, but has yet to succeed so far, as that one just going across ice, tries to get the Falcons out of it, and then Strand tries to get the shot, but it goes into the glove of Moore, as we'll have a couple of line changes here, and Minnesota State on their right side will get this one away.
13 more shots on goal for Minnesota State over Bowling Green, and the Falcons have had more power play opportunities by 2 and yet still trail. That's a testament to this fantastic defense of Minnesota State that even stems beyond Alex Tracy, who's been good so far and great this weekend, but his defense so good in front of him is allowing no opportunities to the Falcons. Here's an icing against Minnesota State, and that won't help. 2:15 to go in the second, and an ozone drop.
So you'll get a little bit of good luck there for Bowling Green, as you'll have it now on the right side, as it was Minnesota State previously to have it on their right side of the offensive zone. But Bowling Green will get this one back away. Sternberg and Higgins going to be the defensive pairing. putting Martin out there with Hodson and Durant. As Durant looks up over to Higgins, seems like that'll be the option to get him going for it, because you know Higgins is going to want to pinch down low to try to get that shot.
Hodson, back pass to Higgins. Higgins down at the goal line. He rinks it around. Strand picks off the puck. He's got a lot of shifts today. Turnover. Hodson, high slot. He has to circle back around. Makes Jordan Ron miss. Hodson working in down to the goal line. Still got the puck. Lost it for a second. Tried a bank pass out to Conrad, who picked it off. Up at center ice, Stjernberg has to gather it and settle it down. Back to Minnesota State. They clear it into the BG end. Falcons have been able to hold on to the puck better in the last half of the second period, and they need to generate some momentum going into the third, as they've had, frankly, very little offensive chance. A couple of key moments, but no sustained pressure, which has been a big theme of their season offensively. A lot of sustained pressure in certain games, and then it goes away as quickly as it came. Stjernberg lost his stick trying to defend an offensive drive for Minnesota State at the blue line. BG behind the net. It's Sloan with Wynot. Wynot looking back to the blue line. He fires it in toward Tracy, who makes the kicker save. Sender behind the net, played by Mason Wheeler, who takes a big bump from Brandon Wynot. That fourth line of forwards, all freshmen. Those three big bodies, big skaters, and can really throw the body around. And there you see Wynot drawing a reaction from the captain, Wheeler.
Yeah, the two of them just discussing some things, as whether or not it's positive or not, you can be the judge of that. But Bowling Green going to be a little bit more desperate here. They only have half the shots of Minnesota State with 12 to the 24. So we'll see here again on the right side. Just have to take this one back. They only have a minute to go in the second period. But you really just got to put it all on full force now. Down by one, just have had very minimal opportunities in this period.
60 seconds to go, 1-0. In for the draw. Falcons win it back. Emerson on the right wing boards, in tight with those. Working in down to the goal line. Behind the net is Waters. He lost control of the puck, and Wheeler clears it. Norris skates back and grabs the puck. Played outside of his own slot. Here's Duran. Feeds it into the slot. Now through and into the corner. Emerson couldn't hold it in the blue line, and here could be a breakaway, but defended by the Falcons. 30 seconds to go in the second. Stjernberg behind the net. He goes off of the boards and free puck. Played ahead. Waters dropped it down and kept it in the O-zone. Waters played it backhand. The clearing attempt for Minnesota State. They'll carry it out with their legs. It's Tristan Lemire up to Benincasa, right side and ahead. BG collects it in their own slot. 10 seconds to go in the second period. 1-0. Minnesota State leads. Tossed down to the ice. Falcons lost the puck. O-zone, Dom Ryman up the right wing side with a second. Couldn't get a shot off, as one that he did was blocked by Evan Murr. And through 40 minutes of play. The only goal been 3 minutes into the game. Liam Watkins. It was 1-0 after first intermission. It'll stay 1-0 when we go into the second intermission in a minute. But again, our senior spotlight before we give it back to Gavin, Jacob, and Artie back in the Cooling Center studio. Number 28, the alternate captain, Jaden Grant, the Michigander, having his best goal-scoring season of his career with 8 goals this season. Also career highs in power play goals and game-winning goals. His number 28 synonymous with both offensive and defensive play, also physicality. And this season, one of, if not the best face-off men in the CCHA, had that mark coming into yesterday's game. He's granted the A this season for BG, a part of the leadership group for the first time in his collegiate career. Granter's career highlights include a goal and 2 assists in BG's sweep of Michigan Tech last season in the CCHA quarterfinals, and a 3-game goal streak at the start of January in 2026 this season, which included 2 power play goals, a shorthanded goal, and a game winner. Number 28, Jaden Grant, playing in his final regular season game here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. The Falcons still looking for a win. They need pretty much 2 goals right now to do it, and they're trailing 1 going into the second intermission. Back to the Cooling Center studio it goes. Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Brock Horn. I'm a middle linebacker, 6-year senior, and these are my Falcon 4 people I go to after a game. So first, definitely would be my girlfriend, would be the first person I'd text. The second would be my parents, if they weren't at the game, which they probably were. Third would be my group chat with like my buddies from BG that have come and gone, so like Darren Andrews, Brent Spees, James Miller, all guys who played here. And then my fourth would be my group chat with all the boys back home. So go Falcons.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On February 11th, 2025, BGSU senior forward Marcus Johnson nailed an improbable corner three-pointer at the buzzer to give Bowling Green a lead over the Ohio Bobcats going into halftime. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call on Falcon Radio.
Thomas looking for someone to inbound it to. Gets into Johnson. Corner three, fading away to baseline. Marcus Johnson nails it. Bowling Green goes into half with the 2-point advantage, 34-32 on the miracle shot by Johnson.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Gavin Gale, Artie Abrego, Jacob Kopez in the Cooling Center. WBGU 88.1 FM for your second intermission report. This second intermission report is brought to you in memory of Marta Crow, Falcon hockey fanatic and avid Falcon hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM listener. 1-0 still after your second period. The Mavericks are up on the Falcons right before we get to the third period. I guess first takeaways. I mean, Bowling Green has barely made an impact on the shots on goal. 12 when their after first intermission, they only had 5. Where the Mavericks, they have 24, doubling what they had last time almost. Absolutely, kind of peppering Cole Moore a little bit more than we would like to see. Kind of what we said that the Falcons need to do against Minnesota State. But I guess first half reactions. Let's start with Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, like you were talking about the shots on goal, they're currently losing that 24-12. And those 7 shots they did get in the second period, I don't believe they came until after the 10-minute mark. So it was around halfway through the period before they got their first shot on net. So I know the one thing that we talked about during the first intermission report was a lot about how head coach Dennis Williams and the Falcons, they needed to come out there and really come out hot and do the second period like they have been in games past, where they would score 2, maybe 3 in a period and really take control of the game. But we didn't really see much of that until about halfway through the period. But those last 10 minutes, I do think were a lot better for the Falcons, because we did get those. They did get those 7 shots. My apologies. And during that time, they had a lot better chances, and they were doing a way better job at protecting Cole Moore and clearing the pucks after he did make those crucial stops. Because I do think it is important to point out how well Cole Moore has played since giving up that first goal. He's been lights out since then.
Yeah, he's played strong. I mean, he's definitely settled into it now. I mean, he's much better performance than his first game he played in this series, but he's really settled into it. I mean, starting the second game in a row, but yet you haven't really seen that aggressiveness you like to see out of the Falcons in these Dennis Williams coach situations. It feels like they're playing very stagnant, very behind the team. They're not really trying to do anything too much, but you want to see that attack. That's what you really wanted to see in the second period. You just didn't really see it. You didn't really see that aggressiveness, that edge. What's interesting to me is they've won the face-off battle. They're 25, and they've won 25 face-offs, and Minnesota State's only won 12. So they're dominating a category of the game. They just can't capitalize on it, and that's a major category in face-offs, and they just haven't been able to capitalize on it at all.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, with the face-offs, with how many they're winning, you would like to see Bowling Green take more possession of the puck. I mean, they're doubling the face-off wins for the Mavericks, so at least every other face-off, you're pretty much just getting possession of the puck. And you'd like to see them use that more, maybe get the pucks in deeper, maybe you're doing more to pass it around, but whatever they're doing right now, you got to try something different because obviously it's not working. You're winning the face-offs, but you're not really doing anything with it. So something's got to change for the third period, or else they're going to keep winning face-offs but still have a goose egg on the scoreboard.
And that power play statistic is still really shocking to me. I mean, they've had 3 power plays. They haven't been able to score on any single one of them. They've had 3 major penalties. They haven't been able to score on any one of them. And that's the point in the game where you're down by 1. You have to start taking advantage of those opportunities when you get them. You get a 5-on-4 on the ice. You got to take advantage of that, and they just haven't yet. And it's been really a very awkward night for them. I mean, obviously they still have 20 minutes left to obviously do something and get a point on the board, but it just hasn't really happened yet.
Yeah, I mean, with the Falcons, with the power play troubles, you'd maybe want to see them take a couple more risks. I mean, obviously you don't want to put yourself in a bad position, but if it gives you a better scoring opportunity, especially at this point in the game where you're down by 1, you haven't been able to get much offense generated at all, it might be the time where you want to take that risk, especially when this is such an important game. And I would say the season really depends on this game, and I think most of the Falcon fanatics would agree with me on that.
I mean, head coach Dennis Williams did say after last night's game, it is what it is. We had an opportunity to create separation today. Tomorrow becomes a must-win game, quote Dennis Williams after last night's loss to Minnesota State. So, you are right. Today is a must-win game. I mean, you're 1 point behind the map. You're 1 point behind Minnesota State. You want to try to get back in that top 4. You can try to get back into this top 4 today before taking on Michigan Tech next week as you close out your regular season. But not seeing that aggressiveness out of the Falcons. I mean, the 2 players that I would say are having the most impact right now would be Hodson and Higgins, both of which have 3 shots. Hodson has 3 shots on goal, and Higgins has 2 shots on goal. So I would they're probably trying to feed. I would say from what they've been calling out at the slate that Hodson is trying to get hot. I mean, he scored a few times last week. Did he score yesterday? Yeah, he did. So he scored yesterday. He's definitely got that hot hand, right in the hot hand a little bit more. Getting the puck on Hodson's stick, I think, is key for this third period. If you look at the stats on paper, he's definitely being more aggressive in that category. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Second Intermission Report on WBGU FM.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home? our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome. Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
Back in the Cooling Center, Gavin Gill, Artie Abrego, Jacob Kopez, WBGU 88.1 FM for your second intermission report. We're going to do around CCHA. Not much action happening in that category as Lake Superior and Northern Michigan end their second period 2-2 tied, bottom of the CCHA, so not a lot of points kind of mattering at the top where Bowling Green's kind of sitting. 8:07 puck drop for Augustana versus St. Thomas. That is happening in about 15 minutes-ish. Other games around college hockey, game that I was looking at earlier, Michigan taking on Wisconsin. That game is 1-1. Minnesota Duluth versus Miami of Ohio. Minnesota Duluth is on top 3-0. Those are the only two games that I've been kind of keeping an eye on as we get to the end of the season. One more week before we get to playoffs, at least for the CCHA. But before... let's do a round of Falcon Media Sports Network, as somebody in studio today has had a very, very busy weekend. Artie Abrego traveled to Oxford, Ohio for men's basketball, where men's basketball fell to the Red Hawks.
They did. It was a pretty tough loss for the Falcons. They lost by double digits against the still undefeated Miami Ohio Red Hawks, who are now 27-0. It was a pretty fun game to attend, a great atmosphere. I got to sit up in the rafters for that one. I was pretty high up if you saw the images from Tyler Kavlitz. But yeah, it was a pretty fun game to attend, but Falcons, they fall again for their second loss in a row.
Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for a recap of that event from Falcon Media Sports Network's Andrew Smith. That will be on bgfalconmedia.com. Also, check out our social medias, X, Facebook, and Instagram, BG Falcon Media or Falcon Media Sports Network on X. Other games that happened today, we had the softball taking on Tennessee State. I'm pretty sure softball ended up taking the win in that one. Golf happened today, but the big one, Battle of I-75 for women's basketball, that was at 2 p.m. earlier today here on WBGU. Lucas Kleinmeyer and Trey Kennedy had the call earlier today, where Bowling Green ended up taking the win against the rivals.
They did. They really controlled that entire game from start to end. They did a great job, just staying together. Janae Donahue set a new season record in steals in a season with 102 in a single season. I believe she finished with more. She finished with 6 steals, so she finished with 104 on the day. So any steal she gets from here on out will just be adding to her, new record. So that was a pretty major moment. Paige Kohler and Lauren Gherkin played great basketball. Really were like a 1-2 punch that really helped defeat the Rockets.
Absolutely. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for any recap of all events, as well as photos, videos, and other content. Anything BG athletic related, we will have covered here on Falcon Media Sports Network. So make sure to stay tuned in for that. So we have Ben and Dan back at the slate before we get to the third period. Final in 5 words or less. Jacob, what are you looking for?
More shots on net.
Artie?
Agreed, more shots on net.
More shots on net is what we are all looking for at the Coolin Center. Now let's send it out to Ben and Dan at the slate. Ben?
That was 5 words or less, so I'm impressed with you guys being able to count on your fingers back there. The Falcons down 1-0 to Minnesota State here in the going into the third period of this game, the final home game of the 2025-26 regular season for the Falcons. Liam Watkins, 3 minutes into the first period, the difference in the game, his 6th goal of the season, and beyond that, we've really had nothing so far, Dan.
Exactly. It's just as they kind of mentioned to close out the show, just more shots on net really is critical right now for Bowling Green. They only got 12 to Minnesota State's 24, which is really the biggest reason Bowling Green just had almost a bit of a downward game so far today. But when you have a guy like Alex Tracy in net, that just makes it even that much more difficult. And then on top of that, just the cherry on top of the sundae, if you will, the defense has stood up for Minnesota State, whether it be Evan Murr or Captain Mason Wheeler. These guys are stepping up, and it's just been a strong defensive presence for Minnesota State, putting Bowling Green in a back-against-the-wall situation, as if Bowling Green isn't able to win this one in regulation and then win against Michigan Tech next week, they will fall to the 5th seed and will not host a game at the Madhouse on Mercer.
Falcons back out on the ice, so is Minnesota State as we prepare for the third period. Bowling Green did a better job in that second period. Had more shots on goal by 2, but allowed 2 more than the first period to Minnesota State. Cole Moore is still standing pretty tall in net, 23 saves, and only beaten the one time off of Liam Watkins And you hope if you're the Falcons, that's not the difference in the game because because Cole Moore already has a 1-0 loss earlier on this season. That was against Lake Superior State here in this building on night number 2 of Lake State Series. That's 3 points the Falcons left on the table with not being able to score, and they could be doing the same here today. Sawyer Scholl, a tip back after Bowling Green took the faceoff back into their own side of the ice. Up to center ice, back skating and playing it ahead is Jeremy Minville with Jaden Grant and with Max Martin here on this starting line. Sawyer Scholl down the left wing. He poked it in on a forecheck. Korodiak defended it. Scholl on the right wing now. His shot in, deflected, slot. BG clears it away. Minville's knocked down to the ice before he got to the puck. That very well could have been something. The bench not happy, but no call coming from the referees. In the corner, Korodiak and McKinley. Back up to the blue line. Bergmanis fakes the shot. Right side, Murr. Shot up. Goes off of sticks, off the pipe, and into the net for freezing of play within a minute of the start of the third period.
Off the stick of Ben Durant puts that in, and I mean, looking for Minville, trying to get a interference call as he was taken to the ice, but you can't always get what you want. But that play of getting it up into the net lets the Falcons get a line change here, lets them try to gain some momentum. They're going to be deep in their defensive territory on the left side, but now that you got Noah Morneau looks to be taking the draw, Dalton Norris, Dominic Ryman, Quinn Emerson, and then this one will take it back away.
On the dot, Breck McKinley peeled it off. Here's Emerson from around the net down the right side. Bumped up by Lemire and the puck away down behind the net for Evan Murr. Murr's wielded so many shifts, one of the leaders in the NCAA in minutes per game, even though there's 2 very solid pairings of defensemen for Minnesota State. Lemire, a shot saved up high by Cole Moore, poked back in by Benincasa from behind the net, and Moore shuts it down with a left-hand glove.
There was a second there, that shot by Lemire. It seemed like it had gone to the back of the net, but quick reflexes there for Moore to be able to knock that one away. As right now you got to try to get this win going to get Augustana. Hope they will lose in regulation, so it's a tough task for the Orange and Brown, but they got 18 minutes and 48 seconds to do so. And who knows, it only takes one shot of the puck to find the back of the net.
Jackson Niedermeyer will switch sides of the circle. A D-zone face-off for Ben Duran, and he wins it back. Niedermeyer kind of stumbles with the puck. Jordan Rahn will get to it first as it trickles around the curved boards. Now Ben Duran back defensively up to Brody Waters. The lines have been jumbled a bit coming into this third period, and the line especially that head coach Dennis Williams really liked after yesterday of Duran, Hodson, and Martin really haven't done much of anything, although we're not on the ice for the only goal scored. So they've been jumbled up, and hopefully some newfound offense coming out of that. Duran with Hodson and with Waters. Waters with the puck across his own blue line. He takes it up down the left side. The leader in goals and power play goals last year for the Falcons was Brody Waters. Power play goals, he was also leader in the CCHA with 10. Bouncing over toward Tracy, and he'll hold on to the puck with some stuff going on in front of the student section. Nothing near what we had in the second period yesterday between Braden Crampton and Reed Morick, which is why they're not skating today.
Well, that moment yesterday going viral all over social media, but just a little bit of pushing and shoving there with Waters, who has seemed to be quite a bit frustrated as Minnesota State has started to kind of target him a little bit. He's also just trying to get his foot in the door for this one, but getting Sternberg and Norris out there on defense. You got Minville as well. It seems that Jaden Grant will be looking towards him, and then Max Martin on the right wing.
That line will stay in combination as they will redrop the puck. Jack Smith on the other side. 19 points on 9 goals and 10 assists, the transfer from Minnesota Duluth, and before that, a transfer from Denver to Minnesota Duluth, his third destination in his 4 seasons. Puck back into Campbell's Psychos. Fellow number 8, Jeremy Minville, gives him a nice bump. Zetterberg ahead down the ice for Smith and Somoza to chase. Sternberg carries it around his net, bumping off Jack Smith, who was pestering him from the rear. Offsides is Sternberg. Grant gets bumped in front of the Minnesota State bench, and now some Falcon fans standing up in front of a sea of purple and gold.
Try to get an extra look at that one as you hear of an altercation and you hear of Sternberg just hoping that he doesn't get too involved in it, as the storm will kind of die down there and Bowling Green will get a line change going. As after the offside, Sternberg had a rush going, and really just unfortunate as he lost the puck and then had Minville right by him, as trying to get this one away as Sloan will take the draw for Bowling Green.
Sternberg's got to be careful too. Again, too many 4 game misconducts, in fact, this season. 3 of them registered by the NCAA, and thus he served a suspension and then a CCHA suspension. Missed back-to-back games, second against St. Thomas, first against Augustana. And Bowling Green ended up winning both of those and losing the 2 games around there that Sternberg did play, but he unfortunately a big piece of this Falcon team that's on a short leash now, and he can't play like he normally does with the physicality. A shot in by Higgins, nicely saved by Tracy, and the puck will be faced off in the O-zone for the Falcons. Ty Higgins came into 2026 without having played a game, something academic that he had to deal with in the first half of the year. Didn't allow him to play. He scored a goal and an assist in the Notre Dame series. The last time he scored a point was during that series, and has scored all 8 of his points in only 5 of 14 games played this season. So while he's been a good scorer, brought in to elevate the offense of this Falcon team, he's done it in spurts and seeking more consistency, especially into next year, but going into the playoffs as well, is the freshman defenseman Ty Higgins. On the dot, Benincasa to clear. Sternberg inside the blue line, gloves and drops at his feet, which is immediately fought for by Minnesota State. It's cleared out across the BG logo. McKinley circles back, playing with Gustav Sternberg. It's a line combination from 2 years ago, the Goose and Breck McKinley, when they were both freshmen, and a little bit last year as well, although Sternberg and Norris combining for a lot of time. At one point last year, there was a couple of series where Sternberg and Norris were averaging almost 30 minutes a game playing on the ice. An impressive mark for both of them, but took a toll on their bodies certainly by the end of the season. Wheeler up the left side, a shot in toward Moore that he just shrugs aside with no chance of a rebound. 16-10 to go in the third period. Still 1-0 Minnesota State. Norris, a good pass up off the bank. Waters with the entry, and Minnesota State stifles it quick. They have put out the candle as soon as the Falcons have lighted it the entire day today. Done so good with their scouting report and seeing what the Falcons did yesterday and shutting off almost all passing attempts BG had, as Waters fanned on a pass there. On the left wing side, kind of a low hit, but there's Duran up the left side. BG in the O-zone. Back up to the blue line. D-to-D pass outside the blue line by Niedermeyer. Sternberg from the senior, now ahead to the junior Hodson. Hodson breaks it away. Good pass into Waters, a deflection, and he sent it wide. Maybe touched by Tracy. The puck is kept, but offsides against BG. And a good chance there for the Falcons, maybe the best of this third period, with just under 5 minutes expired.
Very well could have been just the best chance they've had. I mean, you look at, too, just a little bit more in depth as really trying to get the puck to Hodson, as Tyler Hodson's been quite the goal scorer so far just this entire season. Really a guy that you want to look towards. I mean, his 11 leading the Bowling Green Falcons, as you'll get this one away after the line change.
Grant broke his stick, goes over to the bench and grabs one off of the bench. He's playing with some random left-hander stick right now from the Bowling Green bench. Did not get it from Max Weaver, the equipment manager. Also celebrating senior night, as are 6 Falcons skating in the lineup today. Only one of them not, and that's Brett Foe, still due to his injury. Even Dalton Norris, who was injured up until today, skating for BG. Clearing attempt by Grant, he couldn't do it. Minnesota State dumps it deeper. Korodiak standing tall, gloves and drops, and goes for a change. Higgins up on the ice, McKinley up, a tip. Martin will have to chase it down, puts his head down and goes to skate after the puck. Murr clears it away, Lurie on the right side. Big hit. Brandon Wynot throwing the body around. That at center ice. A clean hit as well. Sloan up the right side with Levis and Wynot. 3 big bodies, big checkers. Here's Stender working in. Good pass, saucer pass up to the right side. Broken up by Wynot. Wynot's had a heck of a shift so far. Low angle chance into Moore. He makes a save. Shot from the red line in the corner. And that shift won by Brandon Wynot on that big check, and then a nice deflection there through the crease.
Sternberg to hold his ground as well, right on Cole Moore to get that one away, a back of just Lurie. So you'll see what else can happen as Bowling Green just getting those chances going. The defensive presence has definitely tightened up since the second period, but either way, the offense has yet to follow. Still 1-0, but you look at the shots, you got 13 so far to Minnesota State's 26 with 14-12 left in the third period.
Morneau into the circle, Karodiak to his left, Dom Ryman, Breck McKinley, Quinn Emerson. Forwards Benincasa, Lemire, and Liam Watkins combining for the difference in the game with the 1-0 Minnesota State lead. Emerson tips ahead, Ryman to gain it. He's been quiet in 2026, and he allows a breakaway. Watkins' shot goes wide right. He shot that from deep and felt the Falcon on his back looking to reach around check. McKinley has to skate back. Benincasa, low angle, good save. Cole Moore, that was kind of cuffing him, and it got up high. Benincasa behind the net, centering into Lemire. The try carried to the slot by Karodiak and steered into the corner. Another shot in, blocked by Dominic Ryman. Out to center ice, Bergmanis lifts it in, and BG will have to retreat. McKinley up. Hodson, Waters, and Duran back on the ice for the Falcons. All three of them juniors. All three of them will be seniors last year, and three of the better scorers for the Falcons. Waters with a quiet year. Hodson and Duran, the two biggest scoring players and forwards in 2026, even ahead of Quinn Emerson, who's got 30 points. Jordan Ron down the right side. Sternberg gives him a shoulder. Brody Waters back to Sternberg behind his own goal line. 13 minutes to go in the third, 1-0. Minnesota State leads. Liam Watkins 3 minutes into the first. Still the only goal, and we'll keep saying that. Minnesota State just trying to clear it out. They're playing three guys back at all times, just trying to create a fortress that Bowling Green can't shoot a cannonball through. Cole Moore down behind the net. 12:30 to go in the third period. Up through center ice, through the middle. Here's Menville. He is blasted. Menville knocked down in the slot, quickly up to his feet. A clean hit as he had the puck right by him, and Tracy will cover up the puck in a perfect time for station identification here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Well, and you take a look at that too, just Minville really trying to get into it, as you see there, just gets knocked down. Really the biggest part of that is he's going over on that right side, kind of loses it. The momentum just goes with him, and the hit just kind of emphasizes that momentum, if you will, as he gets knocked down, and Minnesota State will clear it out.
Minnesota State has still doubled up the Falcons in shots on goal. BG gains the entry here down the left wing. Menville the shot in, blocked, and Grant will have to settle it down behind the goal line. Max Martin breaks the play up. Sternberg holds it in the blue line, shot over the head of Martin, and he'll chase it down into the corner again. This time against Mason Wheeler, the big-bodied defenseman and the captain. It's the puck away with his legs. Sternberg couldn't go D-to-D pass. A big press from Minnesota State. Pass left side, Niedermeyer. His shot blocked up in the air over the cage. Menville fakes up to the blue line, goes deeper, and it's cleared away by Minnesota State. Only 6 shots on goal total in the period. And we're at the 11:40 mark to go. So we've gone through quite a while with not too much offense. And an odd mark there for these two teams that through the first two periods, Minnesota State dominated the offense, but the Falcons still with decent chance.
Exactly, and really, too, just the defensive presence. I mean, trying to get this one going of Breck McKinley and then Jack Blake and Dalton Norris as well. But, I mean, putting Niedermeyer more up on the forward, trying to get this momentum going, as you see here, just it's been really, really a lot of momentum going on the defensive side, as we'll have a timeout going away, Ben.
Minnesota State called the timeout after an icing to give their players a rest at a key juncture in the game. And this will give us a good opportunity to go through our senior spotlight again. Got 2 more players on our list, and the second to last one, the alternate captain and number 18, Quinn Emerson, a native of Manhattan Beach, California, childhood friend of fellow senior, also graduating, and a defenseman, Jack Blake. Quinn skated the vast majority of the last 3 seasons, missing only a few games and scoring a respectable 14 goals, 18 assists in those 100 games played through his first 3. This season marks an explosion for him in his career, vaulting to 30 points through 31 games through today. played off 9 goals and 21 assists, both assists and points among the CCHA leaders. Of course, Quinn's father, Nelson Emerson, a veteran of the NHL, and before that, an all-time great for Falcon hockey, playing with Rob Blake, the father of Jack Blake, and gaining the BG hockey program record for career points in February of 1990, which still stands to this day. Broke that record with his 271st point, 271st, I should say. Quinn's career highlight here is this building against Michigan Tech, a Game 1 overtime winner in the first game of the Mason Cup quarterfinal last season. That won the senior class their first ever CCHA playoff series, and Quinn Emerson started that train. 2-1 overtime victory on a pass from Ben Duran. A gorgeous play, an electric call I remember having, and a great run for the Falcons. Pass to the slot, nearly made it to Dominic Ryman on the back door, but didn't get there in time as he was laid out before the puck got there. Out to center ice, Minnesota State again just forces it into Bowling Green's end of the ice, and a good recovery by the Falcons. 11 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third. 1-0 Minnesota State leads. Up at the blue line, Evan Murr dumps it down to the goal line. Stender is stood up. Norris battling for the puck. He's skated in a fair amount of shifts today, and you wonder how much could have been expected from him, considering he's coming off of a couple of weeks straight where he didn't skate at all. And skated Wednesday for his first time off of his injury. Emerson is blasted in front of the boards, and a penalty is going to be upcoming. Interference, and Bergmanis isn't happy. Emerson on senior night just drew a penalty. Bergmanis is going to go to the box, and this the biggest opportunity maybe of the season for the Falcons, a chance to tie it up with a power play.
Well, and the chance to start going there on for that, but Emerson trying to go into it with Bergmanis and just really gets hammered as he was following Emerson for a long, long time, as that he tries to appeal the call, and then had a couple of words for Tyler Hodson after, but now the crowd's going to start getting on their feet, start cheering, as on the right side, you get this one going. You got the 2-minute penalty, 10:49 left in the third period. You only have half the shots of Minnesota State, but it only takes one. They're putting Sternberg and Norris, the high defensemen, not pinching someone down low, that they're going to have Duran to take the draw.
Finn Williams, fourth line center and alternate captain, the only letter on the forward side. And a couple of key defensemen out there as well for Minnesota State to try and kill a big penalty. They're able to clear it right off the draws. They have 3 times already today. This is the 4th power play for Bowling Green. They're 0 for 3 today, 0 for 2 yesterday, 0 for 5 on the weekend, and coming in 23% conversion percentage. Now getting to the point statistically where it's more likely they score than they don't. Duran carries it across the blue line. It's forced back out by Minnesota State, keeping guys up at the blue line, making the entry difficult for Bowling Green. Here's Waters. He peels it away. Slot cleared. Minnesota State again. 10:10 to go in the third. 1:20 to go in the power play. Higgins takes the puck up across his logo. Entry left side. Morneau moves it in back toward Higgins. Clearing attempt back up to the blue line. Here's Ryman. His shot. Morneau battling in front. Made it through to Tracy, who made the save. Good glove and drop by Dom Ryman at the blue line. A nice play. His pass to the slot to Emerson. Morneau to Emerson behind the net. Carried away by Evan Murr, who clears it. 3 clearances on this power play for Minnesota State. 45 seconds to go on the penalty to Bergmanis for interference. McKinley out to the right side, got blocked by Finn Williams, and a new unit will get on for BG. It's Waters, Duran, and Hodson. Ryman circling with the puck, leaves it back. Sternberg and Norris out for BG. This a similar view to the power play unit of last season that was headmanned by Ryan O'Hara. Obviously off the team now, but Brody Waters and Ben Duran and Gustav Sternberg and Dalton Norris all mainstays. Hodson holds it on the boards inside the blue line, so BG is still on sides and cleared away once more by Minnesota State. That's a penalty kill for the Mavericks and a clutch time one. They're 6 for 6 on penalty kills this weekend, and a big weekend for them as Niedermeyer takes it up, decides to do it himself. The entry. Hodson's pass to Waters behind the skates of the junior, behind the net for Sloan. And Levis waters up at the blue line. So is McKinley. The puck in tight on the right side of Tracy. Battering in front, trying to clear it in. Tracy couldn't cover it up. It's into the left wing corner. The bend boards. Evan Murr with a big hit and a penalty upcoming to the Falcons. Breakaway Benincasa down the right side. His shot over the head of Cole Moore, touched by the Falcons, and a penalty is going to go to Tyler. Nope, he's circling away. We'll see who the penalty is. And it looks like it's going to go to Tyler Hodson. 8 minutes, 7 seconds to go on the third. And Minnesota State will go onto a power play with a 1-0 lead. This time out brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee, craft beer, and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. 8:07 to go in the third. 1-0 Minnesota State leads. This is your home for Falcon hockey.
Hi, my name is Taya Ellis, and I play on the Women's Bowling Green basketball team. And these are my Falcon 4 favorite meals to cook. One is this Jamaican meal called oxtail rice and peas. That's one of my favorites because my mom and dad used to cook it growing up, so it just continued on. Another one is tacos because it's just easy, something easy and quick to make. My third one, I would have to go with steak and mashed potatoes because who doesn't love steak and mashed potatoes? My last one, I'd say Alfredo because I love some pasta.
Unlike other local sources, Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media will never charge a paywall to view our content. However, if you are looking to support student media, you can donate at the bottom of our stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
Tyler Hodson takes a penalty, a pretty poorly placed one with 8 minutes to go in the third, and BG trailing 1. Minnesota State will go onto a power play. Tyler Hodson has not taken a gameplay penalty like this since November 14th versus Ferris State. That was a cross-checking penalty. He's got 4 penalties for 27 minutes since, none of them on gameplay, like his boarding penalty was right there. All of the other ones have been after the whistle, so to speak, and he's got a game misconduct in there as well, I believe. It was against Ohio State, but I could be wrong. Clearing by Bowling Green. Quinn Emerson up ahead as the F1 on a forecheck turns the puck over. He got it away just nearly to Grant. 2 Falcons hit the deck, and now they'll really have to get back on defense here. A good take there by the Falcons. Stjernberg's knocked down as Jack Smith blew a tire, and that'll be cleared again by Bowling Green. So a couple of breaks there and a couple of near misses for Minnesota State, who got lucky on those drives. Looking over the middle of the ice, it's Jack Smith up to the left side. Zetterberg to the middle. Evan Murr gives it up to Benincasa. The pass tried as Zetterberg, cleared out by Bowling Green, skated ahead. Dominic Ryman down the right wing, working in. Ryman moving in. He scores! Dom Ryman, short-handed. The Falcons tied up.
And how about that? The powder keg that is the Madhouse on Mercer has earned its nickname. There it goes for Dom Ryman. And what a way to do it. One shot of the puck can change the world. Just gets it on a hot streak. 7:16 to go in the third period. And the 16th shot on goal for Bowling Green will get past the brick wall of Alex Tracy.
Moved it from the right side to the left side. Beat Tracy outside of the right skate. Dominic Ryman's had a slow 2026, just 2 goals in 2026 and 10 games played, 5 series. And he finds a big goal today. Short-handed are the Falcons and still needing to kill off 60 seconds of power play for Minnesota State. But that got the building involved. And the building that's as packed as it can get today could be the difference in this game. Tied up at 1, 7 minutes to go in the third. Out to the right wing side, shot in, save made, Cole Moore on a big stop. LaBelle rinks it around to Somoza on the right side. He stands up Karodiak, and it's cleared away by Somoza on the pass to the blue line. 30 seconds to go, and the penalty to Tyler Hodson for boarding. That quite possibly has bought Bowling Green the game-tying goal. Up to the right side, Somoza fires it in. Off the half wall, pass to the slot. In tight, Colmore, able to make a save. The rebound carried away by the Falcons. Nice play by BG to recover. Now Dom Ryman breaks it away down the right side again. He's got the puck, feeds it to the slot. It's blocked into the corner. BG holds it in the blue line. It's Ben Duran up the left side. This penalty kill unit has done a heck of a job. Waters in deeper. He's knocked down to the ice. Hodson out of the box to play. A shorthanded goal for the Falcons. No goals allowed to Minnesota State. Hodson feeds it into the back door. Duran doesn't land. Sternberg holds it in the blue line, down to the right side. Duran gives it up back to Sternberg. Sternberg working in. His shot blocked up into the net by Tracy. 5:45 to go in the third period. The goal a second ago. Dominic Ryman off of Jackson Niedermeyer, and senior night with a point. Now a career high in points for Niedermeyer.
What a way to do it as well. Just a bit of a breakaway. We're worried for a second when it happened if there would be a little bit of just extracurricular behind him, whether it be a hook or you name it. But this is going to be a good opportunity for Bowling Green. They're going to put Sternberg with Norris out on the defense a little bit more high, and then Jaden Grant to take the faceoff as Sternberg has it.
Back up blue line, pass to the slot, a redirect by Martin, and now a breakaway for Scholl up the right wing side. Got a man in the slot, but the pass is broken up by Sternberg into the Minnesota State offensive zone corner. Finn Williams, BG gets the puck away. Sternberg a bank pass up. Onsides for Max Martin. He touches it south of the goal line with Minville back there. Minville skirts around the check. Up to the blue line, McKinley. He feeds it in toward Minville, works through the skates of Minville. Max Martin with Noah Morneau, Jeremy Minville. Back to Minville, left side. He'll get it back up to the blue line. 5 minutes to go in the third. A tie game here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Pass to the slot. Higgins slaps at the puck. He'll skate back defensively now on a back check. Stender with it. He'll look to pass it to the slot. Feeds it across on a bank pass to Zetterberg, right side. And he turns it back to the Falcons. 4:45 in the third period. BG trailing in shots on goal by 14, and yet has a tie game. Tracy with 15 saves and a goal allowed. Here's Cole Moore, a rebound. Smith, blocked. Somoza might have gotten in the way of Jack Smith's shot there. Held in the blue line by Minnesota State. Down into the corner goes Zetterberg. Back behind the net, Somoza to center, and Bergmanis has to stop it at the blue line. Another shot in, knocked down. Jack Smith trying the redirect. Higgins slowly, and he pancake lifts it out to center ice. Retaking it back in, a shot in to Cole Moore. He gloves and puts it back into play. Sternberg to Hodson. Hodson with the position, and Bryce Strand was knocked down to his knees. And he lost the puck for a second, and it inevitably is won by the Falcons. Ben Duran ahead, tipped by Waters and into Tracy as he pushes it into the corner. Hodson misses his check. Lemire with Benincasa and Watkins in their own zone defending. Here at the blue line, Niedermeyer the shot, took his stick with him in the slot. Couldn't be held in. Yes, it is held in by Sternberg. A shot up high, in on Tracy, cleared into the corner. Puck back up to the blue line. Sternberg holds it in, right wing side in the corner for Waters. Hodson down to the goal line, looking into the slot, doesn't get the pass off, now got it to Sternberg, Beaver tapping his shot, and it's cleared away by Mankato. Gonna be an icing against Minnesota State. They'll have to keep their guys out, and BG will get a no-zone draw. 3:10 to go in the third, and a big opportunity here, Dan.
Bit of a slow roller, almost like curling for the icing, but that's what you want to see, as Hodson's going to be able to leave the surface and then get another one going. But a great opportunity here with Grant to take this face-off. You're on that left side. It looks like they're kind of trying to get Norris out of the play a little bit so they can sneak him around, and we'll see what they can do against Alex Tracy.
Grant, the senior, in for the draw. He tries to win it back. He's there with Wynot and Max Martin. Max Martin behind the net. Gives it up to the left side, Grant. Now looking in, McKinley. He fires. It's blocked Up in the air, into the corner, back up to the blue line. Norris holds it in. The senior captain down to the goal line, fed in tight. Conrad flips it back to the boards. BG back up to the blue line, now backhands it down into the corner again. Liking to work on the right side are the Falcons. Higgins stops the puck, center ice, and they'll look back in. Higgins broke his stick. He'll go off to the bench for another one. Gets it from Max Weaver. Going to play defense. Dominic Ryman breaks up the play. Down, slap shot. Save made. Cole Moore. A low angle slap shot by Sawyer Scholl, who really wanted it. 2:30 to go in the third. And still a 1-1 game.
Another close call on Moore to get this one away, but just stands up strong when he needs to, and that's another example of that happening there. Bowling Green starting to creep up a little bit in the shots on goal column. They got 18 so far. Minnesota State getting it a little bit more with 34. There's 2:28 left in the third period. Bowling Green to play some defense here. Let's see if they can clear it.
Sternberg off of his skate. Wheeler gives it up. Psycho's a shot over the head of Cole Moore. It was around this time yesterday when Minnesota State scored their game-winning goal. That was Jacob Stender at the 2:05 mark. A shot in, beat Moore, but sails overhead. Emerson lifts it in. He'll go on the chase. The senior out, puts a check on Psychos. He's skating a bit tired, just making sure his guys can get off and on the right numbers. Turned over to Ben Duran. Streaking is Brody Waters along with Tyler Hodson. Back to Waters with speed down goal line. Stripped away by Murr, who clears it out to center ice. $1:45 to go in the third period. 1-1 the score. Minnesota State turns it over. Hodson in tight. His shot goes wide left of the cage. Norris up at the blue line, down south of the goal line. Hodson looking for a backhand pass to the slot. He feeds it in tight to Waters, but it's carried away on a block by Evan Murr. Up to Sternberg. He circles his net with Lemire pestering him. Lemire nearly turns it over. Sternberg somehow gets it back on good stick work. Up to center ice. Emerson in front of his own bench looking for the puck. Now down the right wing comes Jaden Grant. Got room. Grant feeds it in. Ryman on the backside. He wanted it. Nearly got his second of the game and second of the third. 60 to go. 1-1 the score. Minnesota State, Bowling Green, the number 4 and number 5 teams in the CCHA. Jack Smith backhands it ahead. Here's Ty Higgins. He circles his net to Waters, who lifts it off the glass and in front of the Minnesota State bench. Ben Duran on the forecheck. 35 seconds to go in the third period. Entry for Somoza. Stender in. He's going to touch the puck first on the left side. Niedermeyer with a good defensive play to get it back out to center. Wheeler gets it to Psychos. Moore stops the puck behind the net. BG away with Ben Duran. 15 seconds to go in the third. Up ahead. Why not? His shot and a save. Biggest save of the night for Alex Tracy. Why not with a breakaway left side? Puck back with Minnesota State in their own zone. Time will expire here in the third period. A late time goal for Dominic Ryman, his 9th of the season. The game-tying goal, assisted by Jackson Niedermeyer, forces us into overtime and 2 points going for a team that very much deserves it.
Big credit to them as well. Just Bowling Green able to hold on ever so slightly. They got that 5th seed right now. They're trying to just crawl up into the ranks. Could see this here. They need to rely a little bit on an Augustana loss, but if you take this one away, now you look to overtime where the Falcons have played a lot of their games so far this season, as most recently, if you remember, a little bit of Augustana and then Notre Dame as well.
1:20 before we start the 3-on-3 5-minute overtime here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, and we'll go through our last senior spot night of the night tonight, and it finishes with the captain, number 14, Dalton Norris, one of the most mature and steady players in the orange and brown this season. Granted the C after wearing an A last season for Bowling Green. From Oxford, Michigan, Norrie made his mark early, 11 points in his rookie campaign on defense, building to 17 last season. Both this season and his sophomore season, he suffered lengthy injuries. This season, the one against Lake Superior State earlier on in the year, still managing to contribute any way he can off the ice and on the ice. Nor's career highlights include 3-assist game hosting Ferris State last November, and more notably his longest career point streak of 4 games this season, a mark he reached this season in 4 games with St. Thomas and Princeton. 1 goal, 5 assists during those 4 games, and won 3 games during that time as well. Norris, the captain, another and last of the 6 seniors graduating this year for Bowling Green that will not return to the orange and brown. A heck of a crew this team has, and they won. They beat Ohio State this year. They won their first ever CCHA series last year against Michigan Tech in this building, and maybe they can win their semifinal this year as well.
Absolutely, and that's just the bigger picture-wise as you start to kind of close out the regular season with this last regular season series at home, and then you're going to Michigan Tech over for next week, but really try to close it out here at the Madhouse on Mercer, get this one going underway as we'll be set for overtime as Sternberg will talk to Moore to get everybody on the same page. Now is the time to do so as you'll look for it a little bit more, but even if you're looking for that next postseason win, as you mentioned, getting that against Michigan Tech last year and then falling short to St. Thomas, Bowling Green left with a poor taste in their mouth after that and looking to get back in the win column here tonight.
2 overtime games this season between Bowling Green and Minnesota State, both up in Mankato, and a split. A shootout win for the Falcons and a shootout win for the Mavericks. Now Bowling Green, after a face-off win, takes it in. It's Ben Duran. He works to the slot, has it on the right wing side, south of the goal line. Duran with the puck. He lost it, and now Benincasa up the right side. A breakaway, Benincasa, Evan Murr. Benincasa looking to give it up. He gets it to Murr. Murr the shot. Save made Cole Moore confidently for the junior. Up the right side, a saucer pass to Sternberg, who enters the zone along the left wing. He's behind the net, keeps the puck away from Lemire with his long arms and the 6'4" frame. Sternberg will check off, Niedermeyer will check on. Hodson and Ryman and Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer and Ryman combining for the game-tying goal with Brandon Wynot. Ryman to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer the shot, and it's blocked by Murr's stick and up into the net.
Close call there, one that nearly hit the ceiling of just a small metal roof here at the slate, but we'll take this one back. Bowling Green being wise with their line changes. It's a good sight to see here as we'll take this one away. Jaden Grant with Ryman and then Niedermeyer out there, putting Niedermeyer up a little bit high. They got Ryman on the right side. We're going to see if he'll crash that out on Tracy, possibly set a screen.
Back up, Niedermeyer tries to give it back to Ryman, but he has to come outside the blue line. It's off of the skate of Alex Zetterberg. Niedermeyer gains the entry up the left wing. He's got it. His shot blocked by Psychos. Back-to-back entries for Niedermeyer, back-to-back shots and back-to-back blocks.
If I had a nickel bet for every time that Niedermeyer shot it in this overtime and then got it up, I'd have 2, which is not a lot of nickels, but it's kind of interesting. It's already happened twice as he'll check out for this one as Noah Morneau going to get out there with McKinley on the defense. We'll see how this one can go along, and then obviously Quinn Emerson on the right wing going against Zetterberg.
The senior Emerson. Here's Jack Smith. He wins the faceoff back. Psycho Smith and Zetterberg. McKinley defending Zetterberg as he streaks deep. Jack Smith defended by Emerson, and Noah Morneau man marking Campbell Psychos. Smith up the right side. Tries to beat Emerson. He works in. It's poked away by Cole Moore. Cycled back up to the blue line, Zetterberg. He looks in, defended by Niedermeyer. Smith working in, high slot. His shot saved. It's picked up. Back to Smith. Behind the goal line. BG looking to turn the puck over. McKinley knocks Smith down to the ice. A breakaway for the Falcons. Gives it up to Morneau. Morneau down the left side. He's looking for a pass. Looking for a shot. Saved by Tracy. Morneau to Emerson in the corner. Sternberg will have to circle back to his own zone to gather the puck. You could tell Morneau wanting to give it to Emerson on senior night and couldn't get the pass. Entry up the left side. Sternberg kicks it into the corner. Pretty much just turns it over to Stender, but BG picks it back off. Here's Hodson. He moves it between his legs. Somoza has to spin it back around as he picked Hodson's pocket, who got his stick held up, and another turnover for Hodson in the O-zone. Down the right wing, coming in, toe drag by Duran. He turns the puck over behind the net. Bergmanis being pestered by the junior forward. And he gets it away to Stender. Stender circles and goes across the blue line. Dom Ryman defending. Also Jaden Grant and Jackson Niedermeyer. Somoza down the right wing side. 2 minutes to go in the overtime. BG with the puck. Up the right wing comes Ryman. They'll break it away again. You can hear the crowd. Ryman gives it back. Niedermeyer's shot blocked again. He's had 3 shots this overtime, and all 3 have been stick blocked. Somoza slowly, he'll have to drop pass as they're going to get some new forwards out. Evan Murr pushes it up. Benincasa with Moore stepping out of the net. Benincasa at his feet. He was offside, so he can't touch the puck, even though Cole Moore pretty much played it right back to him. 1:25 to go in overtime. McKinley up the left side. Gets the blue line. Down in tight. Working in toward Tracy. No rebound. Benincasa up the left wing now. Quinn Emerson streaks in. Breaks the play up. Lemire looking back out. He gives it back to his own zone. And Murr will slowly skate back to grab the puck. 60 seconds to go in overtime. Emerson nearly picks the puck off. He's back skating and defending Evan Murr. Tristan Lemire with him. And the left side, Benincasa. Lemire now entry on the left side, defended by Duran. Gets the entry. Lemire working in on Cole Moore, and a save. Somehow stayed out, at least as of right now. Puck still loose. Looking up ahead. Here we go. A breakaway just long for Duran. The bank pass just ahead of the junior centerman. That would have been huge. 25 seconds to go in overtime. Murr skating back. He gives it to Alex Zetterberg skating ahead, and Minnesota State going to make a move now. They take it up the right wing, making sure they get last shot. Zetterberg on the boards. He's got it on the right side. Gives it up to the blue line. Left side, Psycho's looking in. High slot. Back to Zetterberg. His shot. And a save. Cole Moore, number 37. 4 seconds to go in overtime. A D-zone drop for Bowling Green. And a 1-1 tie.
And quite a way for Jaden Grant to step in there with Jack Smith, just making sure nobody got there to it, and also being able to fend off Benincasa earlier as the crowd just showing their praise for Cole Moore. Ben Duran out there with Greg McKinley and then Sternberg. 4 seconds doesn't seem like a lot of time on paper, but it could be an eternity, especially if Bowling Green is unable to clear it, as we got the draw and is set to go now.
Ben Duran in for the face-off along with Benincasa. Quick shot from Lurie. Benincasa gathers on the boards. The horn sounds, and 65 minutes of play, both in regulation and through overtime, and we've got shootouts here for the 3rd time this year between Bowling Green and Minnesota State. If the Falcons end up taking the much-needed second point, they'll tie Minnesota State at 45 points, which means that they will still be in 5th place because Minnesota State will own the tiebreaker. However, if Minnesota State takes the 2 points, they'll have 46. The Falcons will have 44, and it's a tall order for BG to come back and try and gain that home playoff top 4 berth.
Well, and you look kind of too, just bigger picture-wise at the rest of the standings, if you will. You look at, you see Ferris State's most likely to be playing St. Thomas. The Michigan Tech going against Lake State. That's going to be interesting too, because then Augustana goes for Bemidji. You could see Minnesota State Bowling Green play at it once again. We saw that earlier this year, and you're seeing it now. But this time, it'll be up at Mankato as it was earlier in the season. So you have to take this one away, see what can happen. And even, too, you still got another weekend of play to go where Bowling Green will have the tall order to go to Michigan Tech and see what they can do in Michigan.
Falcon fans root against Augustana today against St. Thomas. You allow St. Thomas to have the 1 seed, but Augustana's playing their final game of the season today against St. Thomas, and they have 47 points. The Falcons are 4 back right now, guaranteed to take 1, and that means they, I believe, only need 4 points against Michigan Tech next week to jump ahead of Augustana and gain the home playoff. A lot of situations, and if you want to hear about those situations, they'll be discussed every Sunday 4 p.m. on the Zig Zone. Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss everything going on in Bowling Green athletics. So tune in to this station, WBGU 88.1 FM, 4 p.m. every Sunday for the Zig Zone. And the playoff situations for the CCHA will be discussed there. The shootout between Bowling Green and Minnesota State. Ian Somoza will take the first one. Scored a goal yesterday, that in the second period, the first goal in the second period. Brought it to 3-2. Bowling Green, worth noting, they'll get final shot in the shootout as well. Cole Moore getting worked by Somoza. He's made 37 saves with a goal allowed. Alex Tracy, 19 saves with a goal allowed. Somoza amongst boos, working in down the left side, making a move, and a save made. Cole Moore standing tall in the shootout.
You know he would, Ben. A guy like Moore just knows what he's doing. He has been around the block in just his 60 career games that he's had for the Orange and Brown. As now you'll get it. Noah Morneau going to start first for the Orange and Brown as the crowd is on their feet.
The left-handed shooter takes it up off the Bowling Green logo, center dot, moves it up the right wing against Tracy. Working in, Morneau off the post, no goal. He beat him.
He did. Just a goalie's best friend right there is the medal, and that was the shot heard around the world. As that's going to be just, if it's an inch to the right, we're at a different ballpark right now.
Jordan Ron, 4 goals, 8 points this season. Left-handed shooter up the right wing, working in on Cole Moore, makes a great move and beats him on the backhand. Moore's beat. Minnesota State has a make. The Falcons try for the second in round 2.
We're going to count on Dominic Ryman for it.
Another left-handed shooter for the Falcons against Tracy. A make and a miss for Minnesota State, just a miss for the Falcons. Dom Ryman, the second shooter, working in, left-hand shot, score! The game-tying goal from Ryman, and now he ties up the shootout as well. Charlie Lurie off the dot, another left-handed shooter, up the right wing, working in, Cole Moore, save made! The junior stands tall again. And it's Tyler Hodson going out to pick it up off the dot. Another left-handed shooter. The Falcons, with tied through 2.5 rounds of the shootout, a make here will take the extra point for BG. Hodson off the center dot. He picks it up, slow moving down the right wing into the offensive zone. Now working in, slot, makes a move, makes a shot, and it's saved with the right leg of Tracy.
That's the case, Ben. You get a little too fancy with it. He had Tracy beaten first and then tried to make an extra move. Sometimes you got to keep it short and simple. Get that shot right on him, as that's just a little too fancy. Minnesota State up with it.
Zetterberg now for Minnesota State. Up the left wing with speed, right-hander, working in, making a move. Another save, Cole Moore. And setting up another opportunity for the Falcons. Good moves being made by these Minnesota State Mavericks, and only one has beat Cole Moore so far. Brody Waters to win it. A right-handed shooter now. The first one the Falcons will put out. Down the right wing, same move. Waters working in, quick wrist shot, no move made actually, and again is saved by Tracy.
And then I guess just to go for the point I made previously with Hodson, sometimes you got to get a little bit of momentum going in and try to make a move. As there's just got to be a happy medium between both Waters and Hodson.
Liam Watkins, the only goal for Minnesota State today. Left-handed up the right wing. Doesn't even make a move, just lost the puck. Shows frustration. A save for Cole Moore as he steers it away. Who's going to take it for Bowling Green? They've got to send a senior eventually. Who does Willie choose? He chooses Ben Duran, the junior. Duran will go out with a chance to win it. A make for both teams in the second round, and now we're in the last leg of the 5th round of the shootout. Duran, a right-handed shot. Up the left wing works Duran. He looks in, making a move. Lost the puck as he streaked across the blue paint. So now Jack Smith will go out for Minnesota State.
Well, this is starting to remind us of Notre Dame, just hoping for a different result here for the Orange and Brown.
Smith picks it up off the dot down the right wing, Minnesota State. looking to capitalize. Put it right through the 5-hole, Smith did. A good backhand as he gloats to the crowd. And now the pressure on the Falcons and who Willie will send out. Willie sends out Quinn Emerson. Emerson will take the try. His father, mother, and brother and sisters in attendance. Emerson up the left wing in the shootout. Needs a make. Working in. Emerson shoots. Misses wide right. Minnesota State takes the extra point in the shootout winner. 2 shootout winners against the Falcons this season. A shootout win for Bowling Green earlier in Mankato as well, and then a loss yesterday to Minnesota State. The Mavericks will climb up in the standings coming into this weekend, 5th in the CCHA. They'll go up to 46 points, the Falcons up to 44, and they have 3 points of work to do to try and beat out Augustana, depending on the points that Augustana takes today in their game against St. Thomas. And an unfortunate weekend for the Falcons, Dan, that they take just 1 point, and at least a weekend they needed a split.
You really needed just the momentum full force here, especially with the, last guaranteed stand at home that you have for the season. Really just needed that opportunity, but it's just a full force game, and when you have to play the number 17 team in the country like Minnesota State, it's a tall order as you only get 1 point, but you've got a lot of momentum hopefully for St. Thomas against Augustana.
Senior night here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. 6 seniors for the Falcons will not likely play. They will not play in another regular season game at home. Hopefully they get to play in a playoff series here at home. But Quinn Emerson, Jackson Niedermeyer, Jack Blake, Dalton Norris, Jaden Grant, and Brett Foe, all those seniors for Bowling Green skating in their final game here in the Slater Family Ice Arena regular season. And hearts go out to Quinn Emerson, who missed on a chance to tie the shootout. And I'm sure bearing the weight of what was 2 periods of pretty poor hockey today for Bowling Green, and a little bit late to make sure they just took a point on an effort from Dom Ryman. Quick break. We'll have stars of the game coming up in a minute. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU Gymnastics seeks to continue their momentum as they face Central Michigan at the Stroh Center on Sunday, February 22nd at 2 p.m. Check out the recap of the meet by Falcon Media Sports Network's Holden Ruck on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for all BGSU athletics news and updates. BG Men's Golf makes a trip to Savannah, Georgia for the Savannah Intercollegiate on Saturday, February 21st and Sunday, February 22nd. Make sure to check out the recap of the event by Falcon Media Sports Network's Carter Leonard on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for all BGSU athletics news and updates.
You are tuned into live BGSU hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network.
Today's Stars of the Game brought to you by Bill and Karen Hoffer, longtime BGSU hockey fans and Falcon Club members. Third star of the game today, Dominic Ryman, the only skater of the 3 stars today. He had the game-tying goal for the Falcons, 12:44 into the third period. That off of Jackson Niedermeyer with a senior night assist, and Brandon Wynod. Dominic Ryman with the clutch time goal for Bowling Green. Second star of the game, Cole Moore, played better than Alex Tracy, you could argue. 37 saves and a goal allowed, but allowed 2 in the shootout. And Alex Tracy, the first star of the game, allowed just 1 in the shootout. Won the game for Minnesota State with 19 saves and just a goal allowed. That in the third period to allow the Falcons to take a point. Tracy, Moore, and Ryman, the 3 individuals earning stars of the game today. And what will, as looking at the standings, Dan, likely be the last time we broadcast here from the Slater Family Ice Arena. We can hope not, but the regular season here in this slate is done, and the Falcons finish with that record of 16-9-7.
Exactly, Bennett. It's an unfortunate thing to say, but right now there is optimism, and hoping for a St. Thomas victory over Augustana to aid the Orange and Brown a bit. Currently, that game is scoreless after the first period. But, I mean, yeah, the last guaranteed game at the Madhouse on Mercer for this season. But you look a little bit more, there's still next week to close out the regular season as we'll head to Houghton, Michigan, and take on the Michigan Tech Huskies.
A 1-1 tie and a shootout winner for Minnesota State. Myself, Dan Ridenauer, here from the Slater Family Ice Arena. We'll send it back to the Cooling Center studio for the boys to wrap up our broadcast here today. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Childhood cancer it's a long road. It's hard, but St. Jude has gotten us through it. St. Jude is hope that you have a chance at life. And it goes such a long way for every child diagnosed with cancer because everything that's learned is shared all over the world. It's awesome.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
BGSU men's basketball returns to the Stroh Center to face Western Michigan on Tuesday, February 24th at 7 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Nate Henners, Jacob Kopaz, and Dan Ridenauer start off the broadcast of the pregame show at 6:35 p.m. before Foster Rothstein and Artie Abrego call the game on Falcon Radio, streaming on bgfalconmedia.com.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
In the Coolin Center, Gavin Gill, Artie Abrego, and Jacob Kopaz. Final score 1-1 with the Mavericks taking the win in a shootout to defeat the Falcons and ending their home regular season. I guess let's start with Artie. Artie, final thoughts on the game. I mean, Cole Moore put up a pretty good fight, only letting up that one goal in the first period and not letting up a single goal until they got to the shootout.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good rally by the Falcons in the third period. You got Dominic Ryman get that goal to go, but Cole Moore had a really solid performance pretty much all night long after that first goal. I mean, he made 37 saves. He just, when you get into that those extra shots in the shooting period, it's just definitely tough to guard against because you're tired. It's a lot of waiting for that guy to skate up the ice and make that shot, and it's a lot of pressure on you as a goalie because I mean it's just one guy and you have to make sure that you're going your best ability. So it was definitely a tough game for the Falcons. It's definitely a tough loss, but it definitely feels like this series went the worst way it could have for them considering where they are at the standings. If they're still fifth, they're behind Minnesota State still, and they don't get a point. So it's definitely a pretty upsetting outcome for the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that completely, Artie. Let's be honest, BGSU, they didn't have it tonight. I mean, they didn't come out fast. The first goal was scored 3 minutes in, and that would be the only goal that Minnesota State scored until the shootout. And, I mean, Cole Moore, what can you say about him? He was really the only one keeping the Falcons in this game. 37 saves, only let up that one goal 3 minutes in that just squeaked by him. I mean, I don't know if you can say the Falcons really had a chance without Cole Moore tonight because they didn't have the intensity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and like we brought up in the broadcast, shout out to all the seniors playing tonight for your senior night as that wraps up your regular season at the Slater Family Ice Arena, most likely. Now, there is a chance for the Falcons to get a home ice advantage. It's just very slim, and I think we're going to go over that before we go off air. So St. Thomas is currently on top with 48 points. Michigan Tech in second at 48 points. Augustana at 47, and Minnesota State jumps to 45 points. Now, that Augustana and St. Thomas game, that puck drop happened at 8:07, and they're at the end of the first period. That current score is 0-0. So those first four, they get the home ice advantage. Bowling Green is sitting in that 5 spot with 43 points, and Bemidji right behind them with 32 points. Now, we brought it up at the end. You're looking for a St. Thomas win. In this last game against Augustana. St. Thomas taking a win there, securing their 1 spot, and then St. Thomas will have to take on Bemidji State next week in that series. So If St. Thomas gets a win tonight, that puts them at 51, and Augustana can stay at that 47 spot before Augustana. This is their last game of the season, of the regular season. They don't play next week, so Augustana would stay at that 47. Minnesota State is right behind them at 45, and they take on Northern Michigan. Northern Michigan is not doing so hot this season. I mean, they're 3-19-1 in conference, so you maybe a miracle comes out there. I don't want to say I doubt it, but they did lose to Lake Superior State today, 5-2. So, but then Bowling Green has to take on Michigan Tech, the number 2 team in the conference, with 48 points next week, and Michigan Tech is at home, so you're playing away ice. If Augustana stays at 47, Minnesota State has to take on Northern Michigan, like we said, and Bowling Green has to take on Michigan Tech. So if Minnesota State, let's say they win both games, that put them at 48-51. Michigan Tech, if Bowling Green can somehow get a sweep next week, they overtake Augustana and knocking Augustana out of that top 4. So looking for a an Augustana win or St. Thomas win. We're looking at a Michigan Tech possible sweep, at least taking 1. And then a Northern Michigan win over Minnesota State would be that would be cherry on top. But it's like we said, it's very slim for Bowling Green to bring home a home ice CCHA playoff run. But that would be pretty electric for the slate. I mean, they've placked out the slate over these last few weeks whenever they've played at home. Notre Dame games were packed. This game tonight against Minnesota State, packed. Ohio State earlier when there was no students on campus, packed. So we have an opportunity here to pack the slate one more time before the end of the season, but it's very slim. And as we wrap up here, I'm just going to get Artie and Jacob's final thoughts on the game, what we want to see more of next week as they take on a tough Michigan Tech team.
It's definitely a tough loss, but I mean, when you think about Michigan Tech, you want to see them come out with some fire, not like how they did today, where it was very slow. They didn't get a lot of shots on goal in that first or second period. You want them to come out with some aggressiveness that they didn't really have in this game and game tonight, and that they did have in the first game of the series.
Yeah, I mean, with this game, only thing you can do right now is just learn from it, and you got to put all your attention to the next one. I mean, Michigan Tech, they're second best team in the CCHA. We know that. They're very good. But BGSU, they have a real opportunity to get up in the standings more. And with Augustana only being at 47 points, they have an opportunity to play themselves into a playoff spot, a home playoff spot. And that is something that everyone on BGSU's campus has been wanting and wants to go out and support their Falcons. So I think, you're just going to have to put all your focus on the next game, come out hot, and don't let this game bother you.
Absolutely. And we're talking about this from a statistical standpoint, but Ben Korak, our play-by-play commentator for Falcon hockey, he has said multiple times when we've talked in passing and just in general, anybody in the CCHA can get anybody. This is a tough conference. Bowling Green could come out and win both games against Michigan Tech. We don't know. Northern Michigan can defeat Minnesota State next week. We don't know. And I feel like I've harped on this drum, or I've played this drum. I don't know what the saying is, but I've harped on this for a while. The CCHA is the toughest conference out of all of the Falcon athletics, in my opinion. Tougher than the MAC in basketball, both men's and women's. Tougher than football. Tougher than volleyball, I would have to say. We have a volleyball beat in studio, but the CCHA, I feel like, is one of those conferences that you never know what is going to happen, and anybody can get anybody. So we're upset about the loss today, but you also got to take a look in the future, and possibly Bowling Green could come out with a win if the chips fall in their favor. But that's going to wrap it up here on WBGU 88.1 FM for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on Minnesota State in a game that ended 1-1, Minnesota State taking the win in a shootout. Thank you for listening. Thank you for Artie Abrego, Jacob Lopez, joining me, Ben Korak, and Dan Ryanauer at the slate. You're listening to 88.1 FM for cover. your home for Falcon hockey.
On September 5th, 2025, BGSU men's soccer forward Trace Terry found the back of the net with a spectacular goal within the first 5 minutes of the match to defeat Michigan State 1-0, marking the second straight season the Falcons defeated the Spartans. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer had the call of the goal on the WBGU PBS YouTube channel livestream.
Suarez will look along for Terry. He's going to find Terry. He's going to take it on the bounce. A left-footed shot is in! Oh, what a strike from Trace Terry! 1-0 Bowling Green!
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.